And another big weekend is underway in the First Utility Super League. Arguably, this is the top match of the round. A repeat of the 2012 Old Trafford Grand Final, Warrington against Leeds. The Rhinos top of the table, putting their 100% winning start to the test at the home of the third-placed Wolves. Now, last night, Huddersfield made its successive Super League wins against Castleford, and having lost 19-0 at home in round one, they more than redressed the balance with their 22-0 success against Castleford, which means that the Giants take a leap into 5th place in the table, while Castleford, well, they could end up rock bottom if results go against them elsewhere this weekend. Leeds and Saints lead the way with their winning start intact. The Rhinos top of the chart, courtesy of a slightly superior points difference. Warrington the third. They could go level with a win here. Saints, Widnes, Wigan and Hull, they are all playing tonight. And those matches part of a great weekend of action. We will get in the mood and warm up for it all now in the company of Brian, Terry and Barry.
Thanks very much, Eddie. I think we're all in agreement with you. This game here tonight between the Warrington Wolves and the Leeds Rhinos should be the game of the round. It certainly won't have to do much to beat last night's game. In the company of Terry O'Connor and Barry McDermott, as always. Guys, we're going to start over the DW Stadium, not too far away from here. The Wigan Warriors hosting Hull FC in this game. Sean Wayne will be scratching his head with this Wigan Warriors side. He said he wants to give the whole team a chance to get back in his good books, direct quote, but he might bring in Joe Burgess in place of Dom Manfredi. Burgess dropped and missed that defeat against the Castleford Tigers. No Mickey Paya for Hull FC. He is suspended. Liam Watts, Chris Green and Jordan Thompson come in for Lee Radford's side. Setamata Sa, well, the news confirmed during the week, he will miss this game. He missed the last game, the defeat against Leeds. He is an injured vertebrae. They expect him to be out for a long time now. Terry, Wigan Warriors lose to Hull Kingston Rovers. We expect a reaction from them. They lose to Hull Road. They go to Castleford. They don't get the reaction. They lose. What can we expect tonight?
They'll be a determined bunch. I'm sure that the players, the group, Sean Wayne would have led that video session. They would have watched the whole game from start to finish. The leadership group needs to step forward and lead, because there were some signs in this game last week when they played against Castleford, conceding 7 tries. Now,
some signs, there was 80 minutes of signs they got problems.
Yeah, well, disorganised. Like, you look back to 2010, they've lost 13 players since then. A lot of experience, a lot of direction. Thomas Luluai, Brett Finch, Blake Green, Sam Tompkins. It's tough to replace players like that. And there was an incident in this game when Wigan received a penalty in Castleford's half. Sam Powell, who's one of those players, a fantastic player as well, a youngster with a lot of talent. He's got the task with guiding them around the side. He turns around to the rest of the team and says, "What's on?" You've got Tony Clubb, who looks around, who is a prop forward, you want direction from your halves. He's like, "Kick it for touch,
right.
Kick it for touch."
Organisational and directional problems at the Wigan Warriors club. Lee Radford, he's got huge problems. And that game against Leeds Rhinos, Barry, try and make sense of that. 12-0 up and they lose 43-12.
Well, if Hull FC want to get anything out of this game, they have to play with the same confidence and assurance that they started that game. And I was thinking about the half-time and, you know, what was different in the second half to the first. And it was almost like Hull FC had the game in their hands and it was a block of ice. And when they went in at half-time, that ice melted and the game slipped throughout their fingers, and they came out and probably opened the door to a Leeds Rhinos side who don't need a second invitation, who went and blasted Hull FC. I do know that they brought Callum Lancaster in, the young winger who's been scoring tries for fun in the under-19s. He plays with confidence, Brian, let me tell you. But I think that Lee Radford would have spent the week saying, look, we need to look at what we did in that first half, recapture that and try and string 80 minutes of that.
Melted ice, wet hands.
Yep. Terry, quick prediction on this. Who and by how much?
I'm going to go with Wigan to win by 11.
Yeah, I think Wigan can't play that badly again.
No.
Yeah, 6-1 on favourites with the bookmakers for that one. OK, two junctures down the M62 at the Select Security Stadium sees the Widnes Vikings taking on the champions St Helens. St Helens have got Travis Burns back from suspension, but they have got no Johnny Lomax, no Mark Percival and no Flanagan. Paul Wellens we expect to slip back into fullback to accommodate the loss of Lomax and to allow for Travis Burns to come back in. No Kevin Brown, no Hep Cahill and no Lloyd White for Dennis Betts' Widnes Vikings. They bring Grant Gorey in for his first game of the season. Terry O'Connor, just a short while ago on Sky Sports News, Dennis Betts in a live interview said this is a benchmark game for his club to go up against the champions and see where they are. They're not going with a full deck. Admittedly, Saints haven't got a full deck, but Widnes have got some notable absentees.
You asked the question 2 weeks ago, can Widnes play without Kevin Brown? And I actually think they can, because in round one, Kevin Brown went off after 30 minutes. Joe Mellor stepped up. Now, when you get injuries to certain players within a game, and when it's a player the likes of Kevin Brown who leads from the front, every time he calls for the ball, he gets it. He is an immense talent, Joe Mellor, and he led that team around. And they fell short against Wigan. They come away with 1 point. But you look at what they've got. Grant Gore will play at half-back. You probably see Danny Craven coming on, Aaron Herrmeyer going into the half-back role. I think that what you've got with Withers, you've got plenty of effort, time after time.
I have no doubt that Joe Mellor's a fantastic player, but can he lead the team? Yes. He's an individual player that can score tries. The question for me is probably more in terms of the Saints side. I don't think they can play too many more games where they'll lose 2 and 3 players, and the job for Kieran Cunningham and his coaching staff is to try and get the same 17 players that start the game to finish the game.
Yeah. So how's the club? How are you feeling as a player in a club that's losing players all the time but still going on and winning games?
You imagine how confident you are when you're losing players, and like Alex Walmsley in particular was brilliant last week. And I think that
it's good for the character, and all successful teams need to go through that adversity. Yeah. And those are the lessons that you learn, and you draw on that come the big games at the end of the year. But I fancy witnessing this game, Brian. I really do. At home, they're very good.
Saints will take a lot out of that game, but I'm with Barry. I'm going with Widnes and Joe Mellor to lead the side.
Really interesting. They're 5-2 to win this game. Okay, so your Widnes, narrow win?
Narrow win, yeah.
By 10 points.
Okay, that game, Widnes St Helens and Wigan Warriors against Hull FC. You could see all the tries from those two games in the company of these two men after the final whistle and after the summary of this game here at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. So tune in with the boys a little later on. Okay, Hull Kingston Rovers against Catalan Dragons. Sunday, 3 o'clock kick-off for that one. Hull Kingston Rovers go into this game with no Michael Wayman. He's had to retire from playing the game of rugby league because of persistent injuries. They had some good news during the week. They were able to sign the hooker Sean Lunt on loan from the Huddersfield Giants till the end of the season with a view to a permanent move. Todd Carney's absent for the Catalan Dragons if you tune into Sky Sports. Last Saturday with Barry and Terry, they covered the Salford Catalan game. Carney's out with broken ribs in that game. Barry, 25 tries conceded, 136 points conceded. Hull Kingston Rovers are bottom of the table, but you have a theory. You think Chris Chester's side are on the cusp of good things. Please explain.
I do, and I watched the game against Warrington last week, and in phases, in patches, they look really good, and I believe that were it not for a couple of brain explosions, some penalties, some missed tackles, and they've got a really formidable partnership over on that left with Wellham and Mantelano, so there's plenty of tries going to come from those two players. But again, I think Sean Lunt coming in, when you look at the good phases from 2014, it had Josh Hodgson stamped all over it, so a dominant 9 who can make things happen inside and outside might just be the solution.
Did you think they were going to be on the cusp of something good before they brought Sean Lunt in, or is that what swayed your decision?
No, I don't think they're that far away. I like the halfbacks, I like the creativity they've got. You know, obviously Wayman leaving the club will leave a big hole, but you know, Walker's a good player, and I think they've got just 1 or 2 little things to tidy up, 1 or 2 glitches to tidy up, and I think good things could be around the corner.
If those glitches are defensive, they're good things around the corner. If those glitches are defensive, they could get exposed by the Catalan Dragons, Terry.
Well, Catalan Dragons, yeah, well, they had their own problems last week, didn't they? Hull KR, they've competed well in some of the games that they've lost, but I'm with Barry, there's a freshness that's coming in with Sean Lunt, but for Catalan, you can't concede 40 points at home and be happy with coming away with 1 point.
But they almost won the game, really, didn't they?
I know, but they shouldn't be conceding that many points. If you score 40 points in a game, you should blow a team away. You should be winning by at least 12, 14 points. Well, it does come down to attitude. Or you could say, if you're Lauren Fraser, look, lads, let's forget about the first 20 minutes. We were 22-0 down, but then all of a sudden, we found a bit of belief. We lost Todd Carney, our star pupil. Scott Giroux stepped up. Everyone started pushing forward. Zeb Taylor was brilliant. And all of a sudden, you think, yeah, we played really well in the second half.
You're nodding enthusiastically here, Barry. You think that's it. That's what Lawrence Fraser will say is delete that first quarter of the game. We're more like the
it was almost like you blinked and Salford had scored all them points, and we're going to preview Salford. I think Salford themselves will look at that, and it poses an interesting question. Can you win more games than not in this competition by purely focusing on scoring more points than
Keep your powder dry. We're not gone on to Salford yet. Who's going to win this game and by how much?
Hull KR.
KR by 14.
Okay, next game up for us is Salford. They are at home at the AJ Bell Stadium on Sunday. Again, a 3 o'clock kickoff. The visitors are the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Well, Salford have their injury problems, but they seem to be able to overcome them. Centre out missing, no problem. We'll put Corey Patterson in there, and wasn't he a handful in that game? They still, though, have conceded 142 points, the most in Super League. We look for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Well, they were unable to overcome St Helens in front of the Sky Sports cameras. That Terry with the spine of their team in place. The fullback, the 6, the 7 and the 9. Hall, Miller, Tim Smith and Paul McShane. They're all available now. Is that going to be enough to trouble the Salford Red Devils?
They've got a chance to arm more. I'm just trying to think of something positive to say, because when you looked at Wakefield last week, yeah, you could say they dug in, they inspired each other, but you would have thought that they could have beat a Saints side that were lacking in substitutes. They were short on numbers, they were going down. But when the halfbacks,
they're still 2 from 2, Terry. Don't hammer them too much.
Yeah, I'm not. But they conceded 58 points as well.
Give them a chance.
Conceded 58 points as well against Widnes. And now this game, when you go there, you've got to just go for the jugular. If you see so many players falling down, you talked about Smith, you talked about McShane, you talked about Hall, you talk about Miller. They're classy players in that part of the field. Now they've got to realise when the opposition is down on numbers. My point is, Brian, you've got to realise when the opposition is down on numbers, you've got to go for them. If Alex Walmsley in this game is making 186 metres and he's playing big minutes, there's a problem in my opinion.
Who's got to go with them? You started this whole preview by talking about a lack of direction at Wigan. Do you think there's an issue there with the halves? They had to step up a little more in that game?
I think they just need to lead. And Tim Smith is one of those players who gets excited, he plays what's in front of him. I think that what they need to do, they start needing to win in those little battles against their opposites.
Yeah, there's some cameos, some glimpses of what Smith and Miller are capable of. They're very talented. And Hall, indeed, and McShane. Barry Catalan, our Salford Red Devils. Yeston Harris, big emphasis on defence when he first came to the club. We're not seeing that from them.
Well, he was the defensive coach at the Wigan Warriors, who were renowned for having tough, uncompromising defence.
Where's it gone?
I would imagine he's spent all week saying, do you see this? This is the ball. We're going to park that because we're all right when we've got the ball in our hands. It's when the opposition's got the ball in their hand. And these players can make tackles. They're not incapable of making a tackle. It's sometimes a bit of a tweak structurally in terms of who goes out and who stays in, or it's about the work ethic. And we saw last night Matt Cook just switched off for a split second and he got burnt by Jamie Ellis. And there were a few incidences of that last week against Catalan, and Catalan are such a good side that they burnt Salford and scored tries. Now Salford can score points. It's about their ethic and their attitude in defence.
Salford 4-1 on to win this game. Your prediction, Barry?
Salford, yes.
And by much?
By 10.
Terry?
Salford by 10.
Salford by 10, okay, both going with the bookies. Okay, last game, Eddie's called it the game of the round. I think we're all in agreement. It's here at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. Table toppers Leeds Rhinos are the visitors. They got Brett Delaney back in their squad. Good news for them. No Mitch Achurch, but there is other big squad news for the Leeds Rhinos. No Zach Hardacre. We believe he is assisting police with their inquiries into an alleged assault, but he will certainly not take part in the game tonight. It's bad news for the Leeds Rhinos club. It's bad news for Zach Hardacre individually. We'll talk about Leeds shortly. First of all, the Warrington Wolves. Gary Wheeler's out. Ryan Atkins is back in, but Chris Bridge, the important one, going back into the centre or into the halves. As a Warrington Wolves supporter, you're not one, Barry, but if you were, would you be happier now with Bridge in the halves than
Absolutely,
Wheeler?
absolutely. He's got the right experience. He's got the right temperament. In those pressure situations, he tends to make the right decision. So with the ball in hand and his kicking game, he's probably overlooked in his kicking game, which has been an area of trouble somewhat for the Warrington club. Stefan
Massive
Ratchford
issue for them.
at the back will feel more confident to have Chris Bridge in the ranks.
That's been their Achilles heel, hasn't it? Everything else, the positives, the way that Warrington play, the way that they attack, when they get to that last play, I think that has been their Achilles heel. But with Stefan Ratchford there, with Chris Bridge there, Chris Bridge is a runner. Gareth O'Brien's the one who's going to dominate. He's going to guide him around. And you've got Stefan Ratchford, who's full of class.
Okay, that's the Warrington Wolves side, but he's strengthened. Are the Leeds Rhinos side weakened much by the absence of Zach Hardacre? And tell us about his replacement, Ash Golding, Barry.
Well, Ash Golding's a fantastic player that's come through the system, who won't be short on confidence, but he'll be helped by the platform that the Rhinos are going to set in the middle. And I look at the way that teams have been broken down by the Rhinos. There's Ash Golding, young Stanley player. I look at the way that they've broke down other teams, and it's been through a player that's been at the club for 12 months but got a different role. He's popped out there and put two steps to put Brad Singleton through a line, and he's changed. It was off the floor. It was nice and simple for him last year, but he's added an aspect to his game that really challenges and tests defences. And whenever you've got Formula One race cars outside you like Callum Watkins who had a fabulous game last weekend, you're going to do okay.
You got a very good front row and a very good pack in the Warrington Wolves, Terry. Do you expect to see the Leeds Rhinos try and target that or shift the ball wide?
I think that they'll look to play. Leeds Rhinos, look at the 4 games that they've played, Brian. They haven't failed to score less than 28 points. They've got the second best defence. They are absolute class. Conditions like this, we talk about Warrington's kicking game. On a slippy pitch, who always stands up? Who's the player that we always talk about? Kevin Sinfield, I think he's absolutely phenomenal. His kicking game, you kick long, you keep defending, and by having that extra long kicking game, that's buying you 10, 15, 20 metres more.
Yeah, but do you think that Chris Bridge will be able to deliver that kicking game for the Warrington Wolves? What about the absence of Zach Hardacre, I should say? We can get the thoughts now of Phil Clark and John Wells. John, will the absence of Zach substantially change the way this Leeds Rhinos side play in attack and in defence?
No, I don't think so, Brian. It's a significant change, isn't it, to a very, very settled back line, a back line really in Super League that picks itself these days. But I'll tell you what it is. It's a huge vote of confidence in this man from Brian McDermott. There are a number of different permutations that Brian McDermott could have made in the absence of Zach Hardacre. He could have dropped Callum Watkins to full-back and moved Carl Ablett into the centres as cover. That's a huge vote of confidence. He's a man with some pedigree as well. 18 years old, but he's an England Academy product. Comes from the Alton Raiders club, the same as Ryan Hall, I believe. I would imagine there's confidence there, both from the coach and from the players. They'll not change an awful lot in terms of their attacking setup, and Ash will know the plays, the calls. The big thing for him this evening is going to be confidence on only his second Super League start in front of a hostile crowd. I noticed when he came out to warm up, got himself underneath the sticks behind us and asked Danny Maguire and Rob Burrow to stick half a dozen balls up in the air. I would imagine he'll be fielding a few of those early on this evening in tonight's game if the Wolves have got anything to say about that. So that is a significant change to the back line. I don't think they'll change the mechanics of how they play the game. Warrington, though, backline change is commonplace for the Wolves these days.
Well, it is. It's not a lot different to Chelsea, but one thing they need to do is be on their game tonight, because Leeds backs have been sensational this year. Half of those 26 tries coming with some brilliant plays. And Callum Watkins, we've seen what he can do. He's got magic feet. Barry McDermott said he's a Formula 1 car. Well, Ryan Atkins, the man who'll have to defend opposite him tonight, needs to certainly take the air out of his tyres. It won't be easy, because we've seen what great form Callum Watkins has been in on the right centre position for Leeds. Whenever he gets his hands on the ball, he just seems to evade the defenders. And it's up to Ryan Atkins not just to contain him, but also to cause him problems when the Wolves have possession. It's a great matchup, this. I've been waiting all week for this game, because the back lines of both these sides have got some brilliant tries in them, Eddie. Just can't wait for the kickoff. Back to you, Eddie.
Yeah, neither can we, Phil. It should be one of the matches of the season so far. Certainly one of the best games this weekend. Look, the build-up to this match obviously overshadowed by the news about Zach Hardacre and Ash Goulding, the young man who is coming in to take over from him. In the last hour or so, the Leeds club have issued a statement, and I've got it here. They say the club has been made aware of an incident in which it is alleged that Leeds Rhinos players Zach Hardacre and Elliot Minchella were involved. Both the club and the individuals concerned are cooperating fully with the police investigation. Until such time as that investigation is concluded, neither the club nor the players involved are able to make any further comment. And obviously that is the situation we find ourselves in tonight. But it is disruptive for Leeds, Steve-O, there's no doubt about that. The boys have already mentioned it downstairs. But this Ash Goulding, from all accounts, and Barry McDermott knows him well, he's a real talent, he really is. And they might not miss Zach Hardacre, hard as though that is to believe.
Listen, Hardacre is world-class, simple as that. Of course they'll miss him. You've got a quality player. It's a big gamble by Brian McDermott to bring Ash Goulding into that position. And I'll tell you one thing that Warrington coach Tony Smith will be aware of, is that Goulding will need assistance, especially in the opening 15-20 minutes, because he knows he's going to be peppered by the high kick right into his corner. Now, I feel that Brian McDermott will have told Tim Briscoe to drop back, and also Ryan Hall to drop back. Not until the last. They'll probably do it on the fourth and the fifth to try to help and build the confidence of this youngster. But that will give Warrington the opportunity, and they do often take the power play rather than take the kick. So if they're 30-40 metres away from the goal line of the Leeds defence, I think that they might go for that power play, Warrington, and put it on. Let's face it, they've got Penny, Curry, Atkins, Matty Russell. It's a pretty prolific three-quarter line, and Stephen Ratchford has been absolutely superb so far this season. He's going to be put under a lot of pressure, is young Mr. Golding.
Yes, he is, but it does promise to be, as I say, one of the games of the season so far. You mentioned Leeds, you mentioned Warrington. When you bracket them together in the same match, you think it's going to be a special occasion. 2012, the grand final. I've already mentioned it right at the top of the programme. Yes, could be the match of the round, this, and the match of the season so far. It's Warrington against Leeds, and all the action follows this short break. This match was sold out at the start of the week. It's the top two, Leeds against Bradford. Out comes Kevin Sinfield and the Leeds Rhinos. Fantastic atmosphere. Full house at Headingley. Great to see. Live on Sky Sports. Duneman. Here's the kick. It goes wide. Tester for Vynacolo. Comes up with the goods. What a take! Cleanly. He's away. Vynacolo's away. Calderwood has missed him. Vynacolo's going all the way. Vynacolo for Bradford. Underneath the posts. Leslie Vynacolo was tested to the limit by the high kick. And he just then sprung the net. Leeds are going to Old Trafford. Sinfield, the greatest kicker in Leeds history. The hero of Headingley.
Quick play the ball, Leeds are tired. They're out on their feet. They can hardly get back. He's got to go for it. He's got to.
50th drop goal from Briers. He has scored it. Lee Briers for Warrington. His 50th drop goal of his career. And with less than 2 to go, Warrington hit the front. He now is Mike Wainwright. He gets the pass away to Yestin Harris. A lovely jinking run from Harris. He's still going. Oh, that's a breathtaking try. Yestin Harris, a superb try. Burrow. Scampering run from Burrow. Gets the ball to Delaney. Here is Watkins. And Callum Watkins comes inside. Finds Zach Hardaker standing. He dumps it to Maguire. Maguire doesn't know which way to go. Fires it wide in the end to Ablett. Gets it out to Ryan Hall. And Ryan Hall scores in the corner for Leeds.
There he is, the man we all want to see.
We're underway, and Burrow makes a mess of the kickoff, and Andrew Johns immediately has had an impact here. And here is Martin Gleeson, and this is Henrik Markele, and what a start for Warrington! What a start for the Warrington Wolves! 5 of the best moments of matches between these two, and if all that hasn't whetted your appetite, I don't know what will. It should be the first blockbuster of 2015. Two sides brimming with talent who love scoring tries and defending with gusto. Leeds maintain, or can they maintain, their 100% start. It'll be tested to the metal here at Warrington. Teams are confirmed this is the way they'll go, and Warrington have got Ratchford at full back. Then it's Penny, Curry, Atkins and Russell. Bridge returning to the side at standoff alongside Gareth O'Brien. The forward pack is Chris Hill, who is captaining the side in the absence of Joel Monaghan. Darrell Clark, Ashton Sims, that's the front row. Laithwaite, young Joe Philbin and Westwood completing the starting 13. And on the bench for Warrington, they've got Hyam, Asatazi, Ben Evans and George King. And the coach is Tony Smith. 6 years in charge now here at the Warrington Wolves. For Leeds, well, sensational news late this afternoon. Zach Hardacre out, replaced by Ashton Golding, the young man making his first start in Super League. Then they go Briscoe, Watkins, Moon and Hall, Sinfield and Maguire. They are familiar enough. The forwards, Cuthbertson, Ayton and Peacock. Ward, Ablett and Jamie Jones Buchanan. And on the bench for the Leeds Rhinos, they've got Burrow, Luluai, Delaney and Singleton. Brett Delaney coming in to the 17-man squad tonight for coach Brian McDermott. Well, it's a perfect night for top-class rugby league, and Leeds and Warrington should provide it. We've enjoyed it, some classic matches against Warrington down the years for Leeds. 2012 in the grand final, probably the most memorable in Super League. Warrington ending their two-match losing sequence, beating Hull Kingston Rovers on this ground last weekend. And all the mascots accompanying the players tonight wearing red noses. This is Comic Relief Day. And, well, I don't know about comedy. There should be some fantastic action on show tonight, Steve-O.
Without a doubt, Eddie, as far as I'm concerned, there's so much talent on display, and for 80 minutes, let's hope that the official Phil Bentham gives both sides plenty of room to display that talent. As you've already mentioned, Zach Hardacre will not be playing tonight, of course, and the youngster, the 18-year-old Ash Golding. It's a very prominent Brian McDermott that has said that he can handle the pressure, and boy oh boy, we know that this youngster will be given plenty to take, especially in the opening 10 to 15 minutes. Of course, there is options. Watkins could drop back if he just couldn't handle it in the opening 20. He can go to full back, and of course Brett Delaney is out there. He can play out wide in the centre. But Warrington, they will be buoyed by one man, the return of Chris Bridge. Bridge is the architect, as far as I'm concerned, in the kicking game. And we witnessed last night how poor a kicking game can finish up with a side not even scoring 1 point. The Castleford Tigers last night, they were adverse to kicking, and they finished up getting a drubbing against the Huddersfield Giants. Big moment, though, for this fella, Chris Bridge. He knows how important he is, and so does the Warrington coach, Tony Smith. And what about the big battle between Darrell Clark and Paul Ayton? You know, Paul Ayton thinks that he's one of the world's best. Everyone around says that Darrell Clark could be the best in the world. It's taken a while, Eddie, for him to get into the swing of things here at Warrington, but I think tonight we'll see a great battle between Ayton and Clark.
Well, we shall see. You might notice that the Leeds Rhinos are all wearing black armbands tonight in memory of the former captain Mick Clark, who lifted the cup in 1968, and it was in the fabled water splash final. That was. He passed away this week. Condolences, obviously, to all of his family. And it's Warrington who has first use of the football. That's Ashton Sims with the drive. Here goes Darrell Clark, and he gets the ball away to Ben Westwood.
Pretty solid defence by the Rhinos, and they know that they've got to make sure it's solid all the way through. And you can see there that Warrington finding it very, very difficult to get much momentum forward.
Clark just passes it on to Gareth O'Brien, and he goes for territory, and the kick across field and finds touch over on that far side, just buying his team a bit of land early.
Yeah, the combination between Bridge and O'Brien is going to be ever so important. I mentioned before the kick-off, Eddie, how important that kicking game will be for either side. Of course, Kevin Sinfield is not bad in that department.
It seemed a pretty unusual kick, and I don't think any of his teammates are actually aware he was going to kick the ball in the end. I suppose they've got a result, get him to the other end of the field to start the match. But I suppose the accuracy and the problems that you cause with kicks is a key part of the sport.
You think, Phil, it was to get an early kick in, kick early in the tackle count, tackle 3, less chance of a charge down. Ryan Hall hadn't dropped back. I think it was maybe a confidence kick for Gareth O'Brien. Get his first one away.
Well, that was Jamie Jones-Buchanan playing the ball. Here is Carl Ablett for the Rhinos, 40 metres away from his own line. You can tell that by the fact that it's a red and white line that is on the pitch. And here is Jamie Peacock. Peacock goes down in the tackle. Paul Ayton is the dummy half. He gets it away to Sinfield, who will hoist it high, and Ratchford is positioned perfectly underneath that. And the Warrington full-back claims it.
Yeah, a little bit too long there from Sinfield. Was put under a lot of pressure. But you could see there that Stephen Ratchford took that quite convincingly. But it's a pretty tight defence there from the Rhinos. You can see they're pretty compact. They're using the sliding defensive action.
Well, they'd be very compact on Matty Russell playing the ball now, number 1. Tony Smith has said he expects him, Eddie, to play the majority of the season on the wing. Brilliant at kick returning, brilliant at running from dummy half. Leeds Rhinos look to have done their homework on that, and they swamped him on that first play.
Drive forward from the ever-improving James Laithwaite. Ashton Sims once again. Chris Hill with the red head guard, vice-captain of the club, captain tonight, as I said, in the absence of Joel Monaghan. The kick downfield from Darrell Clark. Not too much distance, only finds Ryan Hall.
Yeah,
let's go, sorry, Steve, to interrupt. Let's get straight down to Bill on the side.
Eddie, obviously, alongside the pitch before the game, a lot of the talk was about the absence of Zach Hardacre, and the word from the Leeds camp, their media manager, Phil Daly, in attendance tonight, and pretty much besieged by members of the media. He's sitting up there in the press box, in actual fact, just reiterating the fact that Zach Hardacre was stood down and not picked tonight for disciplinary reasons. Elliot Minchella was withdrawn for similar reasons from the under-19 game against the Bradford Bulls last night. This while police investigation into an alleged incident at an address in Leeds goes on. That investigation being carried out by West Yorkshire Police. I'm told that while Zach Hardacre has been withdrawn from the side for tonight's game, he's certainly very much part of the first team picture. He's training as normal, and it's just as far as tonight's game goes that withdrawal and disciplinary proceedings concerned. And meanwhile, big night for Ash Golding, as you've mentioned. Massive Rhinos fan as a youngster, comes from a family of massive Rhinos fans, and just if he takes that scrum cap off, for the Warrington fans, it'll be reminiscent of Matt King. He takes that scrum cap off, and his hair goes zing.
Ash Golding with a zing in his hair and a zing in his step, I'm sure, tonight. Big night for that young man. This is Ben Westwood. I must say that Golding is standing fully 30 yards behind the play, waiting for the kick from Bridge here. The kick, though, goes in Ryan Hall's direction.
Yeah, that's the second time that Warrington have done that, and that surprises me somewhat. I think over the seasons, it's been proven that Ryan Hall can take the high bomb. I'm not so sure about this guy, Tom Briscoe. I think they got the tactics wrong there of the Wolves.
But if you assume, Mike, that you're going to have to tackle Ryan Hall once in the 6 plays, maybe they think their best time is on a kick chase. That's obviously what they've planned in the first few minutes. Whether that continues for 80 will be a test as their defence tires. But they're elected to give him the ball when they think it suits the Wolves.
Here's Adam Cuthbertson. He gets the ball away to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. He was almost through the gap, but he was pulled down by Ben Curry. Now it's with Ablett, and he will hoist it high, and he goes to the left-hand side with that, and Ratchford takes it very cleanly and very confidently indeed.
Yeah, tremendous stuff. You talk about having confidence in your play, and he had his eyes on the top, and no, that looked a bit high. Boy, wasn't that attack to the head by Paul Ayton?
Well, Stuart Cummings is watching carefully, and maybe we'll get a view from him about that.
Well, it certainly was up there. It's difficult to see whether there was any contact we made with the head. I think he starts off on the shoulder, but just grabs around the back of the head. That's probably given the benefit of the doubt from the referee.
Solid defence this, though, from the Leeds Rhinos here. Yes, it came up almost off the elbow, didn't it?
Doesn't matter. It finished up in the face, and that's a high shot. Simple.
Philbin. Joe Philbin, 20 years of age, his first ever start against Hull Kingston Rovers last week. That was played up by Peacock. That's knocked on. or was it knocked back by Leeds? But it's play on anyway.
And that's the risk, Eddie, when you go to the last tackle. It's not off a quick play of the ball. Leeds Rhinos are going to know you're going to kick the ball. They charge down on that occasion. Great work by Leeds Rhinos. Warrington Wolves, they want to fix that bit up pretty quickly.
Well, I didn't really set up for that kick, and they'll be furious, and especially their coach, Tony Smith. You know, you've got to give yourself plenty of room. Well, they're keeping the ball alive of the Leeds outfit.
They are. They picking up where they left off after the second half performance last week against Hull. 43 unanswered points, of course, and they were in blistering form. Stevie Ward goes down, tackle number 4. Ayton scampers in at dummy half and runs round the back of Ward, then gets a short ball away, and they keep the ball alive again. Maguire, he keeps it going, flick back to Ayton, flick back again by Ayton. This now is Ablett, and Ablett will take it forward once again, and he keeps it alive to Sinfield. Sinfield trying to change the direction, pulled down by Clark and Laithwaite. Ayton again. Here is young Golding over the top from Golding. And well claimed by Matty Russell, in goal as well. 20-metre restart. And Jamie Peacock, let me just tell you that next week on Boots and All on Wednesday, Jamie begins a brand new series on Sky Sports, part of the Sky Sports Living for Sport, and he will be working with our team on that. A whole series of features involving Jamie Peacock, looking after schools from both sides of the country. One in Yorkshire, one in Lancashire. Something to look out for on Boots and All next week and for the rest of the season.
Well, not the best finish by the Leeds outfit. It was a good opportunity. That's a knock-on by Briscoe. That'll be head and feed for the home side. But nice to see that Ash Golding got himself in the previous play in a good position to put the kick, but it wasn't the best kick. Maybe the grubber would have been the right. There's a replay of Tom Briscoe, no doubt about it, got the fingertips to it.
Warrington beat Leeds in the 2010 and 2012 Challenge Cup finals, but the 60-year wait for a league title goes on. Can Tony Smith deliver? He has been here for 6 full years now, and he's the longest serving coach in Super League. Darryl Clark is the dummy half. Ashton Sims turns and gets a good offload away to Clark again. Standing start from Clark.
It's taken him a while, hasn't it, Darryl Clark, to settle into this system at Warrington.
O'Brien and Atkins.
Ooh, nearly got away.
Good tackle by Callum Watkins.
Yeah, that's going to be a great battle tonight. A lot of people think that Ryan Atkins a little bit suspect, and that's a high shot.
Yes, high by Sinfield on Ben Westwood.
Well, over the years, it's probably had a little bit the other way around. Certainly finished up in the face, started in the shoulder, but it was a little bit like the previous one that was said play on. This time Phil Bentham awards a penalty.
So O'Brien starts this next set of 6, and here comes Phil Bint. 9.5 minutes gone. We still await the first points of the night. Are they on the way here for Warrington? With Hill, he takes on Jamie Peacock. Comes off second best on that occasion. Clark again. Here is O'Brien. And O'Brien jinks inside Sinfield, but Ayton is there with Peacock, with Golding to bring him down. Clark now to Sims. Sims then to Bridge. He lays it off to Westwood, whose penalty started this set of 6. Sims has seen a little gap.
Well, we haven't seen much running from Darryl Clark from dummy half. Maybe he'll do it now, and he is.
He does. He goes for the line, Clark, but he's held up by the Leeds Rhinos defence.
Just got underneath him, but that was good work by the hooker. As I say, he's been quite happy to just feed the ball from the dummy half position, and this is his first foray from the dummy half, and he nearly got there as well.
He was held up, though, so the tackle is the last one coming up for Warrington, and they take it back to the 10-metre line. Ratchford, he gets it to O'Brien, who stabs the kick to the in-goal area, and young Golding takes it, but is trapped in goal.
That's a great save, Eddie, isn't it? A brilliant save. It's effective for the goalkeeper in rugby league. Back behind his post there, obviously holds on to possession, but that's difficult. Bouncing ball early in the match, does well to defend his line.
Well, he played full-back in the Boxing Day friendly against Wakefield, and he was a substitute for the Leeds Rhinos in the defeat in London last August, when I think I'm right in saying Leeds acclaimed a little bit of infamy. They were the only team that lost to London last year.
Eddie, we'll see how this play unfolds here, but on the right centre position for the Warrington Wolves, Kevin Penny's going to return the ball somewhere to the centre of the field. He's playing right wing, but right centre for Warrington is Ben Curry. Very versatile player. Last week he played left centre against Hull Kingston Rovers. He's a second rower by trade, but keep an eye on him because he's going to be running at Danny Maguire tonight. Danny, imagine on that left-hand side, will have his hands full if they can get some early ball to both Curry and to Laithwaite.
That's a good scampering run from Matty Russell. He gets the ball away to Atkins and it was forward. Atkins took the pass, released the pass that came to him from Russell, but it was forward.
Yeah, I've got to give a lot of credit to the official, Phil Bentham. He was in a tremendous position and went straight for the whistle. But what a run there by the winger. He did everything right, didn't he, Matty Russell? Apart from the fact it just went slightly forward.
The fullback turned winger, Matty Russell, and Wolfie is in the crowd and enjoying himself so far. It's 0-0, 12 gone.
Look, he's just a running back, isn't he? I don't think you can label him with any specific position. But Matty Russell, when he gets his hands on the ball, particularly likes to scoot. Warrington have lots of players who go behind that play the ball there now, pick it up and run hard and fast. He's done it very effectively last week against Hull KR, and he'll do it again, I guess, tonight.
Briscoe. And Wigan 6-0 up against Hull FC. Goodness were ahead before, as you might have seen. Hands in the play of the ball here by Warrington. Penalty to the Leeds Rhinos.
Well, it was
Bentham with the whistle, much to the disgust of the Warrington fans immediately underneath us.
Well, this is a shambles in regards to Tom Briscoe. That was a shocking attempt to play the ball.
Gareth O'Brien stripped it.
That's what the penalty was for. Was called by the touchridge on this near side, who was right in front of it. He just pulled the ball out as he's getting up.
So here goes Ayton again, the Papua New Guinea international, to Kevin Sinfield, who hands it on to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Ayton waits, 15 metres out. And here is Ablett now. But the Warrington defence so far standing firm. Primrose yellow and blue against the predominantly grey tonight of the Rhinos. As Danny Maguire takes it forward and underneath the posts for the Leeds Rhinos. And here now is Sinfield. He had to stretch for that. Good hands by Watkins. He gets it away to Briscoe. Seen a hole in the defence. They quickly come back and scramble, and they keep him out only just. We've reached the last tackle. And that was Golding with the dummy half pass. This is Sinfield with the crossfield kick. Knocked forward by Joel Moon. Knocked forward by Joel Moon.
Yeah, that'll be a tackle at 20. But a good build-up by the Rhinos, the best so far. Applying the pressure. They nearly took advantage there. The charge from Ryan Hall was pretty close as well. But it's quite obvious that both sides, the defence is going to be well and truly on top. They're both electing to go for the kicking game to try to get the points on the board. Had the opportunity there. Joel Moon was amongst them as well as Ryan Hall.
Goal 3.
Leeds with a last weekly round win against Warrington, June 2010. 37-30. Kevin Sinfield's 6 goals and the drop goal proving decisive. The last win here, though, one to savour in the playoff victory, 26-24. Denied Warrington a trip to Old Trafford when they were the league leaders.
Boy, he nearly took it, didn't he? Watkins read it perfectly, just could not drag it in. Golden opportunity.
I remember watching a game years ago with Warrington Wolves playing. Phil Clark, you referenced Lee Breers and his intercepts. When he goes for them, he used to tap the ball up in the air. It was never pushing his hands straight out. There was always a chance of a knock on. He used to try and tap the ball in the air and give himself a chance to catch it again.
Well, it's the second attempted interception that Leeds have had on this right. Tom Briscoe got a chance. There was the master of the interception. Perhaps it was a preferable option to making the tackle for Lee Breers at times. But he certainly became a master at doing it. And we've seen both Watkins and Briscoe on this edge almost get the ball by intercepting. Warrington trying to go around the outside of them.
Clark just hands it on to Bridge, finds Ratchford. Ratchford goes wide. Kevin Penny picks it up. What a story, Kevin Penny in 2015. What a story from Kevin Penny! Wonderful try from Kevin Penny! He's got blistering pace, and he has confidence. He was sent hither, there and everywhere was Kevin Penny. And he's come back better than ever, and the referee's given a try on the field. But what Stewart are they looking for?
Looking for obstruction on this play here. Certainly nothing wrong with there. Plenty of depth on that pass. I think even though Rashford takes the ball almost behind the player, I think there's plenty of depth and there's no interference with the defence whatsoever.
No, there was no way in the world that Maguire was going to get across there. This is a wonderful individual stuff.
Is there any obstruction after this, though? Is that Carl Ablett?
Well, this is it. I think there's plenty of depth. There's no disruption in the defence there. The defenders are still moving across. Now, this is where they changed the interpretation this year, that there's plenty of gap. There's no way that the defence are disrupted. I think that should be play on. The defence are still moving across sideways, even though there's a player in the defence there who's appealing. He wasn't affected. So I think this should be play on from that. And let's see what else happens after this.
Well, I'm with you, Stuart. I think that there was no way in the world that Carl Ablett could not advance forward and try to get to the winger Kevin Penny.
Well, it's Danny Maguire that throws his hands up, but there's no way he's affected. You know, they're well aware there's plenty of depth between the ball carrier and the defensive line. Nothing's disrupted there. I would say play on.
Looking at the ground and checking the ground, that's okay. I think we should make the point, Stuart, that might have been chalked off last year. It might have been.
Last season they would look just to see whether he went around the back of the player, but this year
try for Kevin Penny. The fairy tale of 2015. He is revitalised after a spell with Swinton last year. Witness Harlequins, Wakefield as well.
Well, Leeds have paid the price for hanging back. They thought, OK, let him run across. It's really no danger. But once he put himself into top gear, he's very dangerous indeed. Nice effort from Golding to try to stop him. But you can see, watch the Leeds defence hesitate. Someone else will get him. Who's going to go for him? Nobody. Oh, Cuthbertson was just left with no chance. What a great effort from this man. And what a great return. They said he was finished. They said he was done. Boy, 4 points there. Says he's got a long way to go yet.
When he picked up that ball, Steve-O, on the sideline, there was 8 Leeds Rhinos players between Kevin Penny and the centre of the field. He managed to run around 8 of them, not all of them standing in the line. 2 of them seemed to be at the back, the full-back and maybe Jamie Peacock getting a breather. But Kevin Penny had a lot of players to run around, and the Leeds Rhinos had many opportunities to shut that play down. Well finished. The Leeds Rhinos will be dirty on their defence.
Inching towards 500 points in Super League is Stefan Ratchford. There should be 2 more to the total, and in all 6 for the Warrington Wolves. Not a problem. 6-0 it is, and Kevin Penny, who made it to the Super League Dream Team way back in 2007, is back with a bang in 2015.
OK, it was a loose pass, but Penny gets it off, and then when he sees a front forward, Cuthbert suddenly said, oh, this is me. Ward tried his damnedest, but this guy's off. Ah, that's wonderful stuff.
Well, they showed him the exit door, and then they put the welcome mat out for him here. And he's come back, and he's doing really well. He played ever so well in the World Club Series against St George Illawarra Dragons on this ground.
It's amazing, isn't it, Eddie? You know, there are certain coaches that say never give him another chance, but you've got to admire the way that Tony Smith said, hey, if you can prove us that you can improve, and boy, he's certainly done that now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has improved. He went elsewhere and improved, and then he's come back. And as I say, with a vengeance. Witness 6-6 against the Saints. So the team lying second, all square with Witness. The team lying top, 6 down to Warrington. Atkins with a bit of a struggle to get away from Cuthbertson. O'Brien's kick under pressure from Peacock goes so high. Claimed by Brian Hall again. Late weight all over the top of him, though.
Brilliant by the winger Hall. He knew exactly where that was going. He never just stopped. He just eyes on the ball all the time. That's great defence. The one thing that's fascinating me is obviously Tony Smith, the Warrington coach, has said to his new acquisition, Darryl Clark, I don't want you running all the time. You know, pick your mark. Wait until you get a little bit closer to the opposition line. He's only had 2 runs in the first, 19 minutes. Normally, as we saw when he was at Castleford last year, he probably had about 10 by this time. So it's obvious that Tony Smith wants to save his energy. Watch him really bounce through on the final part.
Charged down that backfield, and he thought the ball was airborne. It was round his ankles. The thing with Darryl Clark is, if I remember rightly, he didn't start too many games for Castleford, did he? He was pitched into the action around about this time in the first half.
Great effort from Joe Philby, wasn't it? The pressure on the kicker, a trait of the Wolves for several seasons. On that occasion, though, it's not coming in their favour, and Leeds get another 6th place. Great intensity, isn't it? At this stage here, Leeds trying to play it fast. Cuthbertson offloading it, and Singleton now in possession.
Yes, Brad Singleton, when he came on last week at the start of the second half, anyway, he certainly made an impact. Can he make an impact here at the Halliwell-Jones Stadium? Because we're approaching the halfway point of this first half. And Warrington ahead 6-0. Chris Hill is tidying up at the back for them.
Boy, that is a real pleasing aspect for any coach. When you can get a prop forward that is anticipating an attacking kick and putting yourself back like that, that's tremendous.
There's 2 prop forwards heavily involved in that, Steve. The ball went to Kevin Sinfield, and he actually lined up that kick back on the inside for his own prop forward and Brad Singleton. And he was beaten to it by the opposite man in the front row, Chris Hill, who did very well to sweep down. But I guess it's testament to Brad Singleton's speed. We saw it in the victory over Hull FC when he took off Eddie. Big, long, striding legs. Kevin Sinfield picked him out as a target for that kick, but Hill, too good, Johnny on the spot.
Well, Chris Hill with a bit of a bang. We have more injury news coming in from Bill.
Yeah, Joel Moon out of action for the Rhinos at the moment, and that's not good news. I mean, Zach Hardacre not able to start, obviously, for other reasons. And Joel Moon picked up a bang, very first tackle of the game, apparently, and has just come off in the last few minutes, and they're looking at it under the concussion protocol at the moment, taken him to the dressing room to assess him. He got that bang, and it's a sort of delayed reaction by the sound of things.
Well, you talk about a bang. I think there's been certainly a lot of banging in Leeds' defence here. I think it's a much more aggressive approach to tackling their opponents this season than to last. And at this stage, after 4 rounds, I think it's one of the reasons why they are at the top of the Super League table.
I tell you what, Ash Golding's not going to die wondering tonight, is he?
Tell you what, I get a grip of him as well. He looks lightning quick. Barry McDermott had a lot of good things to say about him pre-game. Very talented player. I'd like to see him with a bit of space in front of him, Eddie.
Maguire almost had a little bit of space in front of him, but Laithwaite saw to it that he was going nowhere. Paul Ayton again. Cuthbertson will drive it forward for the Rhinos. Their only major signing at the end of last year, a year that ended with the Challenge Cup, of course, getting to Headingley at long last, but ended, well, not in the best way as far as the Super League is concerned.
Oh, it's good play by Ayton. Doesn't tell to it. That's back to 6. That'll be classed as a knock-on. No doubt about it that Ryan Atkins has finished up with the ball, and it was a Warrington player that gets a hand to this. Yeah, you can see that it's Matty Russell. It went forward, so this will be head and feed for Leeds.
You're not in an offside position?
Well, he's actually moved back. Matty Russell, from where he's played it, moves backwards. So because he's actually gone back from where he played it from, he's actually onside.
Well, it's more pressure for the Wolves.
Yes. Had major problems last year, didn't he, with those dreadful mouth injuries. Matty Russell, they followed him, I think, to the pre-season camp as well. He was sent home and had further treatment, but he's come back. He really has come back well, Matty Russell. He looks very lively indeed in this Warrington side at the moment. Here's Brad Singleton again.
I'll tell you one guy who's working overtime in defence, and that's a standoff for Warrington, Chris Bridge. He's just done 2 perfect low tackles, one after the other.
Stevie Ward.
And Atkins is joining the scheme.
Picked him out then. That ball's gone backwards. Who has it? Who has it? Who has it? Oof, soccer skills. Out wide to Ablett. Referee says play on. The find. Hall on the wing. That's that's a very good tackle by Stephen Ratchford.
Is it ever? Try saver. Kevin Penny came just at the right time, and that's what you call pressure play. Maguire, he looked up there and said, is that Chris Hill coming for me? And the answer is yes. Look at the grin that has just come across the face of the big prop forward.
To pick up on a point you made, Steve, about Chris Bridge and the tackle. You can just see him in the back of the picture. It's Chris Hill, yeah, just let Danny Maguire know he's there, but Danny Maguire's been around long enough. He will not be intimidating the game. Chris Bridge has made 8 tackles at this moment. That mightn't seem like a lot. Ben Curry on one side of him has made 10, and James Laithwaite 15. If you were the Leeds Rhinos, you would of course be targeting Chris Bridge. If they can't get to him, you would imagine the players either side of him are going to have to take up the slack and make those tackles. We try to wear that man out. He hasn't played a lot of rugby league so far this year at this level, but he'll be a target for the Rhinos.
Well, Rob Burrow has emerged from the substitutes bench again. And that was knocked back on the ground, so it's play on. Brett Delaney was first to react.
Yeah, just try to force a pass when really there was too much traffic. I think both sides realise he's not going to get many opportunities in open play. And you've got to take your chances there, and I'm afraid that the Wolves squandered that opportunity.
Singleton will play it to Burrow. Came on and got 2 tries in the second half last week. Delaney again, short ball to Ablett. Oh, and Ablett's gone through Curry, gets the ball back somehow then. Oh, Ryan Hall drops it.
Well, they get the ball. Well, that must have been the power play, surely. It was a knock on Warrington at first. You'll find that, yeah, that's a knock on there. I think it was Laithwaite that got a fingertip to it. So that would have been classed as a power play. But the big fella, Ryan Hall, knew that that was try time.
I think they've actually ruled that the ball went backwards off Warrington for that play. So it wasn't a power play, it wasn't a free play. But I think Warrington got head and feet at the scrum.
Very fortunate indeed. That's a smart move, though, by the Leeds coach, Brian McDermott, to bring Rob Burrow on. It really just is so enthusiastic.
Well, it might have been deemed to have been a knock-on by Laithwaite, but the referee, Phil Bentham, saw it the other way. So Warrington in possession here with Russell, and James Buchanan, the wrist strayed into the chin. Here they are now, Leeds caught offside.
Well, Clark wanted to get on with it. Stephen Ratchford said, hey, calm down. We're the side. We're leading 6-0. O'Brien. Oh, that's not a bad kick, is it? Pumped it way to the halfway line.
26 minutes gone. We still await the first points from the Rhinos. 26 tries, 149 points in 4 Super League matches so far. And the tries scored by a dozen different players. If they can keep that sort of thing up, it promises to be quite a 2015. But at the moment, they have to do something against Warrington to get beyond this vigorous Wolves defence.
Interesting to see how Tony Smith handles this. You know, will he keep Darryl Clark out there for the full 40 minutes? Remember, he's got Mickey Hyam on the bench. He normally gives him a little bit of a run just before the half-time break. Here he goes again. Oh, it's a shocker.
That was worse. I don't think Ben Westwood was expecting it. It's still play on, this. It's still play on, and they have the free play. I think he's just about got beyond the point where the knock-on came about from Ben Westwood, so that's the 0 tackle. Ward is cut down by a fierce challenge. Westwood and Atkins. And here's Darryl Clark. Clark hacks the ball forward to Ratchford. And to the rescue comes Ash Golding. They'll bring it back to the original knock-on, or will they give it the goal line drop-out?
Well, it seems that that's the greater advantage, because we'll get the ball back around 40 metres. And so they'll go off.
Brilliant play, though, wasn't it?
He's got past that, Steve. Offside on the kick. Got past that ball.
Darryl Clark.
There's an interesting point in all that, really, that he was called offside on the chase, and they've now gone back for the knock-on because there was no advantage. So they got the decision in the end.
I think Darryl Clark should have spun that ball to his right. I think he's had numbers, and he had Leeds Rhinos were staggered in their defence, Phil.
I just want to go back though a minute, Brian, to that brilliant tackle from Ben Westwood. He almost cut Stevie Ward in two. No wonder the ball came out. A superb tackle.
As a result of all that, this is why Warrington have this field position from the scrum, and Atkins tries to go inside three of them, one of them being Ablett. Bang, what a hit by Westwood. He just came up with the error himself.
But it's not unusual, is it, to see that from Ben Westwood, playing loose forward tonight.
Big Roy Asatazi is out there. Darrell Clark. Lateral run. Laithwaite.
Impressed me this year is this fella, big second rower, James Laithwaite. Now this is where the Wolves should just camp down. Make sure, if they can, just dribbling in goal area, get that second set of six.
Clark examining the Leeds defence, finds Bridge then to O'Brien. There was Rashford, long pass wide, foot in touch with Matty Russell. Didn't have a chance of getting it, actually.
Trying to play a little bit too fancy. Well, remember, they're in the lead.
Devo, he threw a pass about twice the length of that against Hull Kingston Rovers last Sunday. Hit Matty Russell. Russell stepped inside and scored. So I think that distance is well within the range of Stephen Ratchford. It was just it dipped too much and it was just a bad pass in the end. I think it was certainly a pass he's capable of making. Russell capable of catching a pass of that length.
Keep reacting in the rock, lads.
Matty Russell, Scotch international, 21 years of age. Wing for the last two.
Not surprising, Eddie, you could see that both sides were in no rush to set that scrum down. This has been a bruising encounter. Defence is well and truly on top.
Luluai. The old guard is out there with Kylie Luluai.
Goal two.
I think he's replaced Jamie Peacock.
You're right, Eddie. With two very evenly matched sides, you're looking for the four subs who are on the bench to come on and make a difference in the last 10 minutes before half-time. That might be Hyam for Warrington, or maybe Rob Burrow here, who just starts to scoot out with that run, scampers across the defence, but immediately closed down.
Watching one of those top five moments from this fixture, the kick-off, when Joey Johns was playing here on his debut in front of a packed house. Poor old Rob Burrow was underneath the kick-off. He was nearly cut in half by Chris Lightfall, wasn't he? Thank goodness he got up off the floor and continued to play his part in the match. But that was one of the memorable encounters between these two. And Jamie Jones-Buchanan,
just
too slow to get off.
They're losing the cool, Eddie, and that's the biggest problem. You can see there that Jamie Jones-Buchanan had the elbow into the face. You've just got to settle things down, because I just get that funny feeling that Warrington are now taking control of this game.
Leeds guilty of trying to slow them down, really, at the play of the ball.
Yeah, they've got good field position. And we haven't seen yet Stephen Ratchford link in. He'll come on that second phase. He might come now. He's drifting outside of the big fella, Chris Hill.
There's O'Brien. Here is Bridge. And they get to him, all three of them, with a bit of help from Golding, the fullback, as well. Ratchford. Back it comes to O'Brien. Pops the ball up to Asatazi. The big fella tries to out-muscle them, but he's brought down by Jamie Jones-Buchanan, Kylie Luluai, Darrell Clark, O'Brien. Lovely down to the in-goal area. And Briscoe to the rescue for Leeds. And two of them down because they collided with the advertising hoarding.
Yeah, it looks like Atkins and Russell picked up a bit of a knock. It was a teasing kick into the corner. Briscoe did well to get rid of this. Let's get out of here. And I think it's Briscoe's knee that's gone maybe into the rib cage of the winger, Matty Russell.
It's a great kick, Eddie. We were talking about the kicking games of both sides before. Kevin Sinfield, obviously a brilliant kick of the ball. Atkins on that occasion hurt himself in a collision with Russell, chasing a brilliant Gareth O'Brien kick. I have been critical of his kicking. There's two of the short kicks he's put in tonight. I've got great results for the Wolves.
Update on Joel Moon from Bill.
Yeah, hats off to the Rhinos medical team. Done a very thorough job on Joel Moon. Really innocuous incident early on in the game. Got a knee to the back of the head. Didn't look like anything, but he started to feel groggy. The medical team noticed it. He's been taken off the field, and he will not be coming back. They're not going to risk it.
So that cuts down Leeds options. Widnes are ahead against the champions, 12-6. Not too far away from us here.
Utilise a dummy runner on this occasion. That's what they need. Who's going to do it?
Westwood's taking them on himself. Luluai got to him first. And he was helped out by Stevie Ward. Now it's with O'Brien. He dabs the ball again to the end of the area. Rashford, did he get this down?
I think so, yes.
Well, I think the referee's right to hand it up because the ball came out of the grass pretty quickly. They'll probably give a try. They just want to check the grounding. And, well, I don't know whether you tell anything by Stefan Ratchford's face, Stuart, but he doesn't look convinced to me.
Perhaps it's just tight. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. First of all, it's from a kick, so they're all onside. Rashford's certainly onside. What happens at the grounding? Does he get the ball down first? Well, his hand's not on the ball yet.
He is now.
The ball's on the ground. I'm not sure he grounds it at that point, but if we carry on and he grounds it with his torso, that'll be a try.
Or is it a knock-on? Did he get to it and knock it forward?
That'll be the decision the video referee's trying to see. It's difficult to see whether his hand's on the ball. Certainly from that angle, it looks like it might be, but it's difficult with camera distances sometimes. It's not quite sure what actually happens.
And let's just reiterate, they've got to find concrete evidence to turn the decision upside down.
That's right. It's difficult to see whether he actually touches the ball on the first look there. Does his hand on that angle? It doesn't look like his hand actually touches the ball. On that angle, it does. So I think there's got to be some doubt in this as to whether he's touched it.
Well, if he hadn't touched it, then his torso, the try will be given.
Yeah,
only one person knows.
That's the point. Yeah, that's the point that Stuart was making.
Yeah,
the only
Stefan
person
Ratchford
knows is Stefan Ratchford. My initial reaction was it was a knock-on, but
I think it's a try.
I've not got X-ray vision.
It was a beautiful kick by O'Brien.
There's nothing there to disallow the try. You have to back the referee's judgment. Whatever he gave, I think you've got to support.
Well, unless you say that ball has touched the hand.
Well, by the number of times I've looked at it, there isn't conclusive proof that he's touched the ball. And he's grounded the ball with his chest, so that should be a try. There's nothing there that shows that he's actually touched that ball.
So you've got to back the ref's judgment. Let's not undermine the official in a sport where we need to have respect for the referee.
Well, they've watched it for 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
I think he's got his hand on it, quite frankly.
I think you're right, Steve-O. I think he has as well.
I think he gets it down.
It doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter what Phil thinks, Brian, or, with all due respect, Mr. Cummings, what you think. It all depends on what Ian Smith and Richard Silver would say in the video ref booth. And here comes their decision. They've given the try. And I think that Ratchford and Warrington are fortunate.
Well, I disagree. It won't be the first time over 25 years, but
you think it was a try, then, do you?
I thought it was a try. Right the word from the start. The kick was superb from O'Brien. Ratchford, in my opinion, has got fingertips to it.
You were arguing it was no try when we were watching the replays. I'm sure you were.
No, I said it's a try. Get your ears checked. And that is a vital try to come up with as well.
Try's given, but that is a delicious kick from Gareth O'Brien. Two of the short ones before that have been exceptional. That one, the curve he got on it to put it in between the posts, whereas chasing kicker, the kick chaser, Stefan Ratchford, magnificent.
He put it on a plate for him, didn't he? Brilliant kick.
Oh, yes.
So you think that was a try scored with the hand or with the torso, Steve-O?
With the hand.
That's why you're not a video referee. Here is Stefan Ratchford in front of the sticks. He's added the extras. Warrington are ahead 12-0.
Happy with the 2 points extra?
No problem with that at all.
Good.
Just watch the way he drops the ball onto his foot. This is from the ref cam. Very, very delicate. Threads it between the Leeds Rhinos defence. Of course, Stefan Ratchford knew where the kick was going. Brilliant play.
And it shows you, Brian, the advantage of just dinking the ball into the in-goal area, because it's always going to create problems, irrespective of how strong a defence can be. It was brilliant play.
That's a high percentage play, Steve. Are you going to ask the full-back or somebody to sweep around and to scoop up the ball? The risk of a knock-on. If they knock it on there, they're in trouble. You knock it on, not such a big punishment.
Well, they won each of their first 3 visits on this ground in Leeds, 6 of the first 9, until 2010. But they've lost 5 of the last 6 meetings since.
And this is where Warrington have to show to the rest of the Super League world that they can control the game. This is what they've got to utilise now, that they can just keep turning them round, and that is a little bit too strong, but the idea is there. They'll line up, they know they're going to get the tap on the 20.
Wigan back on track, you might have seen in the first half at the DW Stadium, and Widnes have increased the lead at the Select Security Stadium.
Of course, Eddie, this is a very interesting scoreline when we're dealing with the Leeds Rhinos, because the last time we covered them on Sky Sports, they were 12-0 down against Hull FC. We all know what they did in the second half. They came out and threw out 43 points at Hull. I'm not suggesting they'll put on 43 tonight against Warrington, but I'd say the Wolves will know that Leeds Rhinos are going to have a say in this game. They're going to have a period of possession. Wolves will have to be very, very good to keep them out.
Well, they caught Hull FC a bit cold last week, didn't they? In the 39th second, I think it was, that the first try of the second half was scored. And then, well, it was just one-way traffic after that. I don't think they'll be given the freedom of the Halliwell Jones Stadium tonight quite as much as they were last week at the KC.
Too true. And you've also got to take into account that, you know, it's a big occasion for Ashton Golding, the full-back. You know, Leeds are without Zach Hardacre, and he creates all sort of problems coming out wide off the likes of Watkins. Joel Moore, of course, is injured, but, you know, Watkins can be creative. But when you've got such a talent as Hardacre coming into it, and they're missing that tonight.
Ben Curry here has knocked on, according to the ref.
Leeds have got a chance here, perhaps to get 6 points before half-time. And it all came as a result of Rob Burrows' kick. Do you know what? To kick the ball and to get it to sit and stay in the in-goal area is a difficult skill. But he did it remarkably well. And as a result of that field position and patience, they've forced an error and have a chance here, really, probably the first chance, Eddie, in this match, to go over for a try.
Joel Moon off for the rest of the night as well for Leeds. It's a good contact. Oh, and Kylie Luluai has got a cut to the eyebrow above his left eye.
As he ever, it's a good drop. Bit of vintage there. Yeah, I agree with you, Phil. This is a wonderful opportunity, and they know it. And he knows it too, Brian McDermott. If they've got a set pattern move, maybe the switch to that short blind side could be on. Pick up by the loose ball, which of course will be Rob Barrow. Now they come open wide.
And Watkins, who's been relatively quiet after his exploits of the second half last week, so far tonight. Burrow dummy half. 10 metres away, Sinfield. Gives it then to Singleton. Burrow scampers in at dummy half again. And Sinfield with a drop of the shoulder, then flicks it back to Burrow. Warrington have closed down his options, but Burrow is a will-o'-the-wisp.
Westwood said you're going no further, and it hurt Burrow. He got him on the shoulder.
This is Luluai. Warrington have survived 4. We're coming up to the 5th. And that's Singleton. And they force him back again. Great defence from the Wolves, this.
And it was a good move. Came on the angle, did the big Singleton.
Burrow. Short ball. Maguire.
He's going nowhere.
No, he's not with them round it.
That is outstanding. And he knows it. He has to appreciate that.
But I think you'd be wondering where on earth is the kick.
Just like the Giants showed last night, if the opposition don't score, you can't lose. And Warrington maybe took a lesson from Huddersfield's defence. It was outstanding in that victory yesterday over at Huddersfield. And again, that's pretty good goal line defence against a team who've been scoring tries for fun.
Yes, they have. Nothing yet from Leeds for 38, nearly 39 minutes. 26, let me say again, 26 in the first 4 games of the campaign. And that just shows you how good the Warrington defence is tonight.
I'll tell you how good, Eddie. It's the fact that we've seen nothing with the combination of Kevin Sinfield, Danny Maguire. All right, it sparked it up a bit with Brian McDermott bringing on the field Rob Burrow. But you have to admire this Wolves. I mean, cruel, some of this defence. That's good defence on back as well.
Stand out, five.
Good work by Singleton.
Bridge into open space. It's been touched by a Warrington player, and Golding, does that come off his knees or his hands? His hands, says the referee. Warrington want to inform this scrum quickly, because they're going to have 20 seconds. It was a knock-on.
Yeah, just lost control. You can't take anything away. He was certainly brave. He wasn't going to pull out of it. It could have gone either way. A bit of a stray boot, just dislodged it as well, but it just lost control at the vital moment.
Make sure you're ready, Warrington.
Now then, one drive from the scrum and maybe the kick into the corner. I mean, the one good thing that we've seen from Warrington tonight is their ability, and why not from the likes of Chris Bridge, and especially the short kicking game from Gareth O'Brien. Created Ratchford's try from that, of course. It wouldn't surprise me if O'Brien said, let's do it again.
Will they go for a one-pointer here, Warrington, because O'Brien is back 40 metres out. It comes to O'Brien. He snatched it. He snatched it. He knows he did as well.
It was certainly on.
Well, he got the drop goal, you may remember, that won the match at Hull in the second week of the season. 7-6. And he had visions of doing the same again just a few moments ago to give Warrington a 3-score advantage going in at half-time. As it is, they lead by 12. Penny with the first try. Ratchford goal. Ratchford with a try and a goal. 12-0 to the Warrington Wolves. Good game, isn't it? Good game. Two great live games coming up for you next Thursday and Friday. St Helens, Warrington, Thursday, 7:30, Sky Sports 3. Sky Sports 3, 7:30 Friday. We'll see Leeds again against Wigan. And Leeds are warming up for that visit of the Warriors with a visit to the Warrington Wolves. And they're trailing at half-time by 12 points to 0. Penny and Ratchford with the tries, and Ratchford with the 2 successful conversions. Well, there he is, Super League's longest serving coach. He's just passed the 6-year mark, and well, he ended Leeds' 32-year wait for the title, while at Headingley he moved on to England, then to Warrington, and he produced their first Challenge Cup win in 35 years. Can Tony Smith land the first league title in 60 years? All Brian McDermott is concerned about is the 2 points on offer here, and can he wave the magic wand as he did this time last week when his team were 12-0 down at the KC Stadium? Does lightning strike twice, fellas?
Well, we'll find out in the next 40 minutes, Eddie, and who knows what he's saying to them and what effect it will have. Tony Smith will also be having his say. You got some odds at the start of the season picking Stephen Ratchford at fullback, Matty Russell and Kevin Penny to be the starting wingers for the Warrington Wolves. But the wingers in particular, John, we're going to look at them. They've had massive contributions in this game.
Yeah, they've shown up well, haven't they? There's a lot of debate, very intelligent debate as well, about where Matty Russell's best position is on the field.
We're laughing because I told you Stephen Ratchford's a fullback and Matty Russell's a winger.
I agree, and I agree. Matty Russell is a wing, and here's why. Because this is where he's at his very, very best. Here's Matty Russell, just about to get into the base of the ruck, and I think it's great. Just the pace he's got, his ability. You'd actually criticise Ryan Atkins here a little. Kick gets too flat and doesn't give the option for the pass. Matty Russell's always going to throw that pass because he sees a Warrington shirt there. Have a look at this one. I won't stop it. I'll just slow it down slightly for you. Matty Russell makes the read, the defensive read on Callum Watkins, still able to get the ball away, but does enough to disrupt the attack. That's 2 very positive contributions from him.
That's their left winger in attacking defence. What about their right winger?
A lot more experienced player, second bite at the cherry, as has been said in commentary. We saw him do something very similar to this against St George, nearly with the same result. He goes one better, catches Stevie Ward hanging out the line, that extra foot, and then that pace, once he gets through into the hole, was superb. very well deserved, and he's taken that second chance with both hands, hasn't he?
He has indeed, yeah. I don't believe they've yet replaced Lee Breers, and if he is replaceable, or gone and got a player that's be able to play off the cuff like Lee Breers. You've got a great example of a chance that Warrington create, but are missing a certain pass in this. Talk us through this, John.
Right, okay. Well, first of all, you've got Ash Golding, the Leeds Rhinos fullback, and he wanted an extra person on the short side for some reason. I don't understand why. Two people on the short. That's got to work against that, because he put his side under some pressure. But it's not the problem. The problem for me,
Danny Maguire off the ruck.
So Leeds are one short. Leeds actually do quite a good job. They get plenty of players up here. But the problem I see is that this is too prescriptive. Catch, pass, catch, pass, catch, pass, and then they go for the miracle ball. Now, let's show you this again, and I'll show you where I think the problem, where the opportunity was. And this is where somebody like Lee Breers would have gone, right, I'm not going to hit Stefan Ratchford, who is the first choice option. You need to look at what the defence is doing and go, right, I'm going to go straight through the middle and hit that tunnel ball between two players, between the front runner and the supporting fullback, into some space, because Rob Burrow had made a movement in here towards Philbin. There's an acre of space, there's an option for him there, and unfortunately that prescriptive nature of the play means that they've missed out an opportunity, but not for nothing, because obviously they
That's something Gareth O'Brien will look at. What he has brought tonight is a short kicking game. This is an example in the Stefan Ratchford try. Beautiful touch off the boot.
Yeah, he does this. I think this is a really superb part of his game. I think what I will say is again, this is a prescribed play. What he has seen, he's seen the Leeds fullback there, stuck in behind the ruck. He knows there's going to be some space in and around this area of the field, and there is no doubt he will have already told or been given a call from Stefan Ratchford and probably one or two other players that he's going to get the ball away for a kick. I like that. One step, drops onto the toe, perfectly weighted ball, great finish by Stefan Ratchford. 12-0 up, but for some better execution, having their eyes up, they perhaps would have been even further ahead.
Well, the players will have the words of Tony Smith in their ears, and Lee Breers there will also be available to have a word with Gareth O'Brien and the halves. Give them a little bit of a pep talk, and what a great person you could learn from, Eddie. Well, you said it, can lightning strike twice? Can the Leeds Rhinos come back? We've got 40 minutes of Super League ahead of us to find out.
We have, thank you fellas. Scoring records of the two sides are interesting. Warrington now have scored 16 this year. They've conceded 13. Leeds, those 26 scored, they've now conceded 14. What's going to happen in the second half? Well, you're in the only place to find out. Don't go anywhere. Well, I've got sci-fi action to tell you about now, starring Tom Cruise. Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat is available now with Sky Movies on demand. Half-time in the first Utility Super League match between the Warrington Wolves and the Leeds Rhinos. Warrington ahead by 12 points to 0. I've not got Tom Cruise alongside me, but I've got someone who lives on the edge. Steve-O, Kevin Penny. Fairy tale. Can Leeds produce another fairy tale 7 days on?
I think they can, but they've got to sort themselves out. We mentioned the fact that they weren't getting the power in the forwards. If your forwards aren't doing the hard work, then you look, it's no point in having the, shall we say, the skill factor of Sinfield and Maguire, which we've seen very little of. They've got to be a little bit more constructive, but most of all, they've got to make sure that their kicking game is a little bit improved. It wasn't all that good in the first stanza.
Kylie Luluwai has had the head wound attended to during half-time, wearing the bandage. This is Jamie Jones-Buchanan now. Well, they began last week at the KC Stadium in blistering fashion. And I wonder whether Brian McDermott can produce two in a row. They were 9 seconds away from their first try this time last week.
Well, to be fair, Eddie, I think you'll already see that there's a little more enthusiasm that has been displayed. And well and truly over the halfway line, it's something that they failed to do on a regular basis in the first 40 minutes. So that'll lift their spirits. This has got to be a good kick.
It's high, it's deep, it's Ratchford's.
And that was not
a good kick. Okay, the chase is okay. They got to Ratchford. Oh, what didn't you... Wow, I thought for one moment there that the full-back was trying to offload.
He felt that tackle, that's for sure. Russell. Oof. Bit of a collision then for Ben Curry. Russell again trying to manoeuvre some territory for the Warrington Wolves.
It's been a good feature, Eddie, for Warrington. Is the oh, what a kick! The ability of the three quarters that, like Kevin Penny and Matty Russell, and we saw previous to that Ben Curry, is to take the workload away from the forwards and drag them into a good position where a marvellous kick.
The Warrington crowd was holding its breath then, as it looked like that was sailing out on the full, but Bridge, he judged it to perfection.
I think he had a few nervous seconds, Eddie, when it was in the air. Just seemed to bend around at the right moment.
Warrington were quite lucky and did very well, in fact, to contain Tom Briscoe, who didn't get much of the possession and didn't do much when he did have it. But there's going to be a point in this game when either Ryan Hall or Tom Briscoe, the other winger, gets the ball in his hands and causes havoc, or certainly looks to do that. And the question is whether Warrington's defenders, as the game wears on, are able to cope with two world-class wingers with speed out wide.
And whether they can cope with this fellow, because they have thus far, they've kept Callum Watkins very quiet indeed.
Yeah, both the combination of Ryan Atkins and Gareth O'Brien, they've really worked very, very hard to make sure that Watkins goes nowhere. That was a 50-50.
That's the last one for Leeds. Sinfield hits the deck. So Maguire's the kicker. It's straightforward up and under this one.
Got it.
Pulled cleanly by Matty Russell.
They did well under pressure. Tom Briscoe was hanging around. Crowd not too happy with the official, but that's good defence. Leeds know they've got to improve in every single department. That will not help. Lack of understanding, not talking to yourself. And Clark said, I'll get on early. He asked the referee, Phil Bentham, can I do it? He went, yeah, go on.
So Clark will play the ball to O'Brien.
Second.
And that's George King out there, 19 years of age. Some good young players. By the way, Golding, he is the 10th player out there tonight for Leeds who's come through the academy ranks, and there's quite a few on the Warrington side as well. Laithwaite.
Yeah, they deserve high praise for doing that, Eddie, don't they? They have this wonderful ability there at heading it. Oh, that's a good hit. Little wide.
Westwood. 7 locals in the Warrington ranks, by the way. So.
Yeah, likewise for the Wolves.
Dipping pass to O'Brien, taking them on. And, well, that was on the last, so he was trapped there, was Gareth O'Brien by Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
Yeah, thought he might get the big second row, loose forward, should I say, tonight. Through the dummy, but maybe the kick would have been better. Look at that man there.
Saints are fighting back at witness.
Sorry, Eddie, the trouble for Leeds Rhinos and the reason they're stuck back down here, it originates back at Danny Maguire's kick at the end of the last set that Leeds were in possession. Spun off the outside of his boot. It wasn't a great kick. And a play and a half after he kicked it, or two plays after he kicked it, I should say, Leeds Rhinos were penalised for being offside. They need to get themselves back into this. They'll start with a good kick at the end of this set and put some pressure on the Warrington Wolves.
Well, that was a marginal pass to Peacock. Burrow, left-footed, under pressure, but down the middle. He finds the ground, and this will give the chasers a valuable few seconds before Penny picks it up.
That's much better there. That was quick thinking. Rob Burrow realised, split the wing and the full back. Leeds are hunting now. They've got to be very careful, though. Don't be complacent. Don't move in front of the official. Don't give away a silly penalty.
Well, they all were in front of the official then. He looked a clear yard or two offside. Now he gives them the word to go, and they do, and Atkins comes towards the Leeds defenders, goes down, tackled number 4. Now with O'Brien, angled crossfield kick. This could skip away. It does. It was raining heavily overnight and throughout the morning here in Warrington. But the groundsman was out for fully 2 or 3 hours before the kick-off. He was rolling this pitch from one end of the field to the other. Well, it's odd. Ryan Hall took the kick and then looked at the referee.
Phil Clark wrote an article. It's available online, skysports.com. Very good article about the rules. Let's stick to the rules, Phil, you say. I'll tell you what, the markers would want to get square, because I've seen about 5 or 6 instances where Phil Benton could blow the whistle for the markers not being square, because the game is speeded up here, undoubtedly. Both sets of players are going to draw a penalty out of the referee if he so decides.
Great tackle by Leithwaite.
Well, he was held and he passed that ball off the ground, Brad Singleton.
Oh, no.
It's going to be a penalty. It's going to be a penalty, is it? Well,
Thank you.
He gave one last week. Obviously, he's not in the ground. That's an even bigger blunder, Stuart.
He wasn't tackled. I mean, ball carrying arms not hitting the floor. He's done well to keep it off the ground, and I'm afraid he's made a big error, Phil Bentham.
Well, Escaray was penalised last week for getting up and playing on. Let's look at it normal speed. Well, no, it was never on the ground, that arm, was it? Never in a million years. That's a blunder last week from Phil Bentham and a big one tonight. Whose call was it, Stuart? Touch judge or his?
Oh, it was the referee's call. Referee's call.
So, Curry to Leithwaite and Asatazi. Can Warrington capitalise on that? Here comes Mickey Hyam. He might wreak a little bit of havoc. As Bridge fires the pass wide, it was touched in the air, and it's going to be head and feed to the Warrington Wolves. Penny was waiting. Had it reached him, it was a stroll-in.
Yeah, he did well there, didn't he? The big fella, Ryan Hall, got the fingertip to it just in time.
Did he do well, Steve? Or did he need to come in? I'm looking at Danny Maguire, looks pretty comfortable on Ben Curry. Ryan Hall's taken it in upon himself to come in, went for an intercept, or at least went to bat the ball down. I question whether or not he actually had to make that defensive read.
And that comes about, Brian, by the fact that you don't have the confidence. And he obviously didn't have the confidence that Danny Maguire was going to shape up to it. So he said, I'll take it. Either way, they are under pressure. And Mickey Hyam will love it out there.
He was nearly through with his first touch. Jamie Jones-Buchanan all over him. And still all over him. And that was Ratchford. Here is O'Brien. Oh, Philbin went without it. It wasn't the best pass, to be fair. It was round his shoulders.
Yeah, I thought he was going to come on the outside, and then he just changed his option. And he stopped. Well, that's a real let-off for Leeds. And if they can maybe get a penalty here, but Leeds have got to start playing the ball a little bit quicker as well, a little bit more urgency when you're from the ball carrier.
Well, maybe gets that ball away as he fell. Here comes Delaney now.
Now with this Warrington defence so strong,
see, they can't play the ball quickly, Steve-O, with the way that Warrington are dealing with them on the deck.
Yeah, but listen, you've got to struggle. You've got to try to give the official a chance to give you a penalty, which they have got.
They've got one this time for offside.
I'm just making the point that Stephen Ratchford, on that play, okay, they got the penalty Leeds, but Stephen Ratchford was so deep, he was in a position where maybe, a little dribble through or a chip over the top. Leeds have got to come up with something different than this one-out football.
Look where the kick went to, Eddie. This is a huge chance for Leeds riders in this game. We won't see a repeat of the Hull FC game, 43 points in the second half, but a score here would be huge.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan trying to take them on up the middle. Burrow at dummy half. Maguire waving everybody else forward as well. Switching the direction of the attack. Short ball then to young Ash Golding. And down he goes. Courtesy of Asatazi. Burrow gets it away. Cuthbertson, Maguire, Watkins keeping it alive. Ward keeping it alive. Ball knocked backwards by Sinfield, picked up by Golding, and they've lost momentum.
The screaming put it out wide. Ablett's going to come second. on this second phase. Will they get it though? Peacock's
to Peacock. He hangs on somehow under pressure. Last one here for the Rhinos. Warrington standing firm. Ball stabs the goal area. Flicked away by Ratchford. Repeat set. 6 more coming at them.
Yeah, nice little dribble through. This was good play there by Rob Barrow. How many times? Ratford just got a fingertip to it, but he wasn't going to take any chances. That is real pressure play, and he knows it does Ratchford. But Rob Barrow is the key now.
It ended well for Leeds Rhinos. Not the most composed attacking set I've ever seen that team put on. They put on some great plays against Hull last week, caused them all sorts of problems where they were down near the Hull FC line. We didn't see it in that set. Let's keep an eye on this one and see if there's a little bit more structure to their attack.
Champions ahead now at Witness. They were 14-6 down. Here, the league leaders are trailing 12-0 to the Warrington Wolves, who aim to join them on the same number of points tonight. This is the repeat set coming at them, courtesy of Leeds Rhinos' first goal line drop out of the match. And Cuthbertson taking it forward and being forced back by vigorous defence.
Will the youngster Golding put himself into the requital? No.
Yes.
He does now, but it wasn't intended for him. Oh, that's going to be a penalty. The official Bentham had his back to that. The touch judge really should have helped him. It was Ashton Golding that went right round the top of the head.
Frustration from Ash Golding, maybe. Dropped the ball, gave Warrington a 0 tackle. That's why they're in possession here. And Curry gets them to halfway. Hyam. Good run from Hyam now.
It's a marvellous advantage, isn't it, when you see you've got Darryl Clark and also Mick Hyam there.
Looping pass wide from King. Finds Russell. 4 tackles gone. Philbin waits. King on his inside. He opts instead for Ashton Sims. That's the last one. Coming up here then for Warrington. Hyam. High off the boot. Bridges after this. Golding claims it cleanly.
Yeah, good take by the youngster as well. Warrington did the right thing as well. Make sure that they didn't touch him. Give away the penalty.
Well, this is where the Wolfpack earn the money here, making life impossible for Leeds to go forward with this ball. Look how compressed Leeds are. The players all stood around to play the ball area, and it's a big effort here now to try and get out of their own danger zone.
It might need another penalty, Phil. It's what got them down the other end of the field. They wasted 2 great shots at the Warrington Wolves line with some pretty average attack. They might need a penalty because they're struggling for yards. And we haven't yet seen those players, Ryan Hall and Tom Briscoe, that you talk about. They're able to get the yards, generate the quick play of the ball. Haven't seen it.
In the centre it goes with Golding, and then wide to Stevie Ward, who gets away from 2 would-be tacklers. Good run from Ward, plays it quickly. The defence all over the place at the play the ball.
Okay, now you got Cuthbertson kicking, Eddie. You got problems here.
Oh. Not back, says the referee. Off Leeds.
Got trouble, Eddie, when Adam Cuthbertson is given the ball on the last tackle to kick the ball. He's a brilliant ball player. He's a handful in attack. But there's an issue with the direction that Leeds Rhinos are getting from their halves.
Confusion added to frustration.
Move now.
Really, when you should be looking towards the likes of Sinfield and Maguire taking control out there. They're slowly but surely Leeds losing the plot.
Russell will have another run at them. That's a great run from him.
He's had a brilliant game as a winger.
Last one. That's why the kick came in from Ratchford. It's a great kick too. Golding with all sorts of problems to get it. Oh, he deals with it brilliantly, the young man. Excellent play by young Ash Golding.
Yeah, from both sides.
His age.
Yeah, it was a wonderful kick. That's how you control it. You have a 12-point lead. No fancy stuff. Just turn him around, apply the pressure. But he was equal to the task with Golding. Oh, that is unbelievable. Sims. Oh, come and join the party.
Cuthbertson. Sinfield, it was too quick. It's Ryan Atkins. Atkins scores for Warrington. rushed and hurried pass by the captain. And Ryan Atkins comes up with his second try of the season.
The hit there, and then the follow through. And this was virtually suicide. That's suicide trying to do that.
That's frustrating, Steve.
Yeah, you're 12 metres away from your own goal line.
It's because they're getting nowhere. They've just seen Jamie Keith Peacock bashed and dominated by the Wolves defence. They're trying to go sideways to go forward. They can't generate a quick play of the ball, and they panicked on this occasion. Hutchinson shifts it on to Sinfield, and he tries a ball that he wasn't able to produce on that occasion. Atkins picks up the pieces. It's frustration. Warrington Wolves have suffocated this Leeds Rhinos attack, especially coming off their own line. It's brilliant Wolves defence, and it's very average Leeds Rhinos attack.
Yeah, you have to wonder why on earth the experienced Kevin Sinfield, the skipper of the Rhinos, would want to try to offload, as I say, 12 metres from your own goal line. The error was always on its way, and surely this should wrap it up. The extras of the 2 points.
Ratchford's bang in front. He won't miss this. It'll be 18-0 in a moment. And 18-0 it is. So far it's been a comprehensive dismantling of the league leaders.
18-0 wouldn't usually be beyond the Leeds Rhinos, especially with so much time left on the clock, but the way they're performing tonight, or the way the Wolves are performing in defence, you probably bet against it. It's Cuthbertson's decision to ship it on. It's not Kevin Sinfield. It's not a brain explosion from Sinfield. It was Cuthbertson giving him no chance. Sinfield did his very best, Eddie.
It didn't go to 10. It was a smart little move from the skipper, obviously trying his damnedest to resurrect the error that he had just a few moments ago. But you can see quite clearly it never made the line before it lunged with the right arm. And Gareth O'Brien quite happily pumps it in over that left-hand side. Oh, there's been some big hits out there tonight.
Perhaps that was Ward on Philbin. Here they come now, the Wolves with Ben Evans. Hyen and King.
Well, this is where you drive towards the sticks and just say, we'll take the one. That's all they've got to do. Oh, Mickey Hyen, he can't believe it. If ever a player in Super League will be kicking himself, but he's so excitable. He's such a great player. He's been a great servant, not only to this club, but to rugby league in general, and he's come up with an absolute shock.
Well, Leeds may get back from 18, but they wouldn't get back from 22 or more. And this is a chance here. That is the last chance that Leeds are going to be given in this match. Within the next 5 minutes or so, I think they need to score a try to give themselves some confidence. And they have players who can come up with that miracle play, be it one of the outside backs or an offload from a Cuthbertson or a Peacock. We do know their ability to score long-range tries. They're renowned for it. They're going to have to come up with one very quickly.
Well, they're going to have to come up with something very, very special to get through this defence from Warrington. It's been magnificent tonight. It
Certainly has.
They need a penalty.
I mean, to be able to force Leeds into a position where it's virtually one out rugby league football. This is a very, very good side from the Rhinos. They're no mugs. They just haven't been given the space or the opportunity.
Well, this has got a chance. Collision in the air, and the referee said that Watkins was challenging for the ball.
Got a bit of an elbow as well, did Ratchford. Did well to keep control of that.
St Helens stretching the lead at witness. Kevin Penny.
And again, I have to mention the way that Matty Russell and Kevin Penny have put their bodies on the line to take the responsibility away from the forwards. Every time that Leeds has pumped it through, inevitably.
Well, Wigan are taking no chances against Hull. They've just popped over 1 pointer by the looks of things. 13-6. Golding stops the 40-20 attempt. Penny stops Golding with a bit of help from Curry.
Well, to be fair, the youngster is only 18. You can't point the finger and say that he's responsible for anything, because he's played A-OK. Nice offload from Sinfield.
That's a much better offload. That's an even better one to Watkins. And a great ball inside. Wonderful try from Briscoe. Leeds are coming back.
What about the acceleration, Eddie, from Callum Watkins when he got the ball? Otherwise, he would have been reeled in, or the Leeds Rhinos would have been reeled in. Have a look at Callum Watkins slip on the afterburners when he gets the ball.
Brilliant stuff. And you've got to give credit to the skipper as well. But Ryan Hall, that's a planned move. That's not just off the cuff. Ryan Hall to come from the left wing, knowing that Sinfield throw the dummy, then the offload. And two wingers, they combine. This is brilliant. This is Leeds at its best. But is it too late? That is the biggest problem. Look at the big fella. He knew he was there. Watkins says anybody on the inside. Oh, yes, there is.
But a little fumble from Michael Hire behind the play of the ball about a minute or two ago. He's starting to look a little bit more costly potentially in this match. And I guess Warrington will be rather anxious now behind their own post, because they've just awoken the sleeping giant here now in this match. And Leeds can do that again twice in probably the next 5 minutes. This is brilliant. It's why they are so good to watch. At the very best, to keep the ball alive, to instinctively support the ball carrier, and then to have that sort of speed and spatial awareness. It's a superb score, and it brings them back to life.
Briscoe with a sensational try. We've seen some great stuff tonight from these two sides. Wonderful play from Warrington, and we have just seen Leeds, well, recapture a little bit of confidence, because lesser teams, after going 18-0 down in the manner that they did, could easily have gone into their shell.
Eddie, we get asked at the end of the year by Sky Sports News to compile or offer forward some suggestions for tries of the year. I'll be surprised if that one isn't up there with it. Consider the Warrington Wolves defence they've just scored that against. How good the Warrington Wolves have been for 60 minutes. And Leeds Rhinos, with their star players to the fore, come up with a sensational try like that. It is absolutely brilliant.
And they've got a little bit of belief now.
Yeah, they've nothing to lose, Eddie. They know they've got to keep it alive. You know, don't die wondering. Make sure that you try everything you've got there. I know one thing, when Warrington got in a position, remember Mickey Hyam came up with the error, they'll be going for the 1 point. They'll need it.
Sinfield with a bit of space. Maguire gets the ball away to Watkins. Here comes the last tackle. And Ryan Hall's waving. He wants this ball kicked high in the air this way. Sinfield ignores him and goes the other way. Oh, and it's dropped. It's a score. No. Is it Singleton? Is it Brad Singleton's try? The referee's having a look, and he's going to hand this upstairs. What's the decision out there?
Got no try.
No try they've given. They think they've seen a knock-on, Stuart.
Well, it's a challenge in the air that's causing the issue for the officials on the field. The officials on the far side, Clinshard has called for a knock-on. All players are onside from the kick, so that's fine. That's play on from there. I think everybody's behind. So what happens here? I think it's a fair challenge for the ball. That ball seems to go backwards off Danny Maguire.
Did it hit young Golding before it got to Singleton?
This should tell us. I think it goes backwards off Danny Maguire. Does it hit him on the chest? If it hits him on the chest, it would be play on. It goes backwards. Oh, it might just touch his arm there as it comes down off his chest.
You suggest, Stuart, just throw it at you that it might have gone forward off Stephen Ratchford's fingers, just if this is disallowed as a try?
Possibly, it's in there. I think I'm looking for a knock-on from Leeds, and it seems to come backwards off Danny Maguire's arm.
And then it hits the chest, doesn't it, on the youngster Golding?
It hits the chest, but does it just catch his hand on the way through? I think they're satisfied that it has hit his hand, so...
Well, that was nervous times, wasn't it? Singleton thought that he got the Rhinos well and truly back into it. It was a big decision from the video referee.
Just to clarify, Stuart, if it hits his chest, it's not a knock-on.
If it hits his chest, it's not a knock-on, but
if
then
it hits his hand,
it is. Hand or arm, it is.
Boy, that's a real wake-up call. And look at the Leeds defence now. They've taken a leaf out of the Wolves' book.
17 minutes left. They need 12 points for the draw. The Leeds. Warrington, you feel, might need just 1 point to secure the win.
The only problem is, as far as the Wolves are concerned, they're not going to get anywhere near.
Tell you what, that's a close run thing at Wigan, 13-12. Oh, Ashton Sims stopped dead in his tracks.
He didn't like it, he went for Peacock.
Bridge with the kick. Golding with the catch.
What a tackle. To me, that's a tackle of the match. He's been around a while, hasn't he, Ben Westwood? But that was absolutely out of the top drawer.
Tell you what, Cuthbertson has a penchant for offloading the ball, doesn't he? And we've been talking that Briscoe and Hall have been quiet for much of the night. They're suddenly coming alive. This game isn't over yet.
Is that the French for offload?
You should know, you're the French expert. Aiton, up the middle goes Peacock.
Yeah, there's a new vibrance, isn't it, running through the veins of this Leeds outfit. In a good position.
Singleton thought he'd scored a moment ago.
Really is making a name for himself, isn't he, Singleton?
Well, he's the heir apparent to Luluwai and the Peacock.
My word.
Well played, Ben Westwood. It's been immense tonight again, Westwood.
And he always is.
You can't blame Leeds for trying something a little different there. That's a little tip over the top that hasn't come off. But you know, that Warrington, I think this is a peak for them for the season. It's round 5. They haven't played this well yet. They haven't fully fired. And we're looking at a team that have lost in 2 of the last 3 grand finals. And every year the Warrington supporters keep asking themselves, is it this year? Will it be us at the grand final? Well, on the evidence of what we're seeing here, I think they want to build this season, but they're building very nicely in this match.
They're building nicely here as well to get in a position for that 1-pointer, maybe.
It should be here.
Back with O'Brien. Oh, he's running it to Bryan. Gives it to Laithwaite. Well, that was awful from Laithwaite. And Maguire's on his way. He hasn't got the legs, though, Maguire. He was desperately hoping that Ryan Hall or someone would come up and help out.
Well, when we get a second rower, James Laithwaite putting a kick in at a crucial part of this game. You've got to wonder about what Phil's just mentioned. Will Warrington go on? Now they've given away a penalty. I'm with you, Phil. You've just got to say to a point, you've got to be professional at it. And when you're leading 18-0, okay, Leeds have come back. But they're getting nervous.
Not the best kick.
Warrington are nervous as anything.
And just on that Ryan Atkins tackle, he did very well to wrap up Callum Watkins. No need to get involved with a second effort. Just stopping somebody as dangerous as Callum Watkins is your job done.
Aiton, and here comes Peacock. Again, it's Westwood. He began that tackle round his shoulders and the arms went straight down to the ankles. Watkins, the danger man. Golding. Is he forced over the line on that far side? Oh, he had a long, hard look at that, didn't the touch judge?
Well, I thought the tackle had been completed.
Well, I think that's what he's arguing, Steve, that he felt the tackle was completed before, and he had the ball above the line, is what Ash Golding was saying. But the touch judge, well, he's as close as he can be, so we'll have to go with his decision.
Well, he couldn't get any closer, and it's a huge relief for the coach, Tony Smith. They got the scrambling defence there. They had the numbers, did Warrington.
What do you reckon, lads? You've seen them come back, Leeds Rhinos, in the past. You've seen some great battles at the Halliwell Jones. What do you think, Brian McDermott's men? Feel another twist in this game?
I'd love to see another Leeds try. Wouldn't have to make it interesting, wouldn't it, at the end? And I think you're right. I think that they are in the ascendancy, whether they can break through the defence again. We've only had 3 breaks in over 60-odd minutes in this match. It's very hard to get through to opponents. I think the defensive attitude tonight has been first class for both sides, but I do think Leeds are going to try in them.
Well, one thing is for sure, Tony Smith could have got the message out to James Laithwaite. You are not the kicker. Keep the ball away from your boot and leave it to the likes of Bridge and O'Brien.
5, move now!
Warrington restricted to inside their own half at the end of the 5th tackle. And they're running it. They're running this. Wait. Free play.
Here you go. Here's your grandstand finish, Eddie.
Free play. Now it isn't. It's a zero tackle.
I cannot believe that Warrington have gone for a power play.
And there's a high shot from Ashton Sims that's produced... Oh, no, it's an offside decision. I beg Ashton Sims' pardon.
Well, Laithwaite, I put a lot of praise on him this season, but he's come up with 2 bad errors. It's allowed this Leeds outfit to have a sniff of at least a draw anyway.
Well, if they score here, we will have the finish we all crave. Because there's still 11 minutes or thereabouts remaining. And here come Leeds in the shape of Peacock. Back it comes to Maguire. Curry gets to him and envelops him.
Tense moments for Tony Smith.
Ayton. Oh! It was a little bit ambitious.
Well, I know they can't hang around, Eddie. They've got to try something, but you can see quite clearly that Ben Westwood, he'd had a big red target on it, didn't he? On Jamie Jones Buchanan. He's been magnificent, hasn't he, Ben Westwood tonight? The amount of work he gets through, especially in defence, he's well over 30 tackles already.
Barry McDermott highlighted that before the game. Paul Ayton decided to get out a lot this year, run with the ball, and try and bring forward runners onto that. Jamie Jones Buchanan just a little in advance. He needs to let Paul Ayton get across. So just hold back on your run, time it so Paul Ayton get across, give you a bit of time to catch the ball, take it in, and brace for contact.
Well, they won't be doing a power play now. They'll just drive it up and then get the kick and chase. Just back to basics. And who else could take the ball up? Then the loose forward, Ben Westwood. Lead by example, and that's a good kicking option. That is a great kick from Mickey Iam. Okay, the young fullback's got it, but the chase is excellent. That makes it a little bit easier for the home side.
Ryan Hall, Cuthbertson, they're hunting him and hunting him and hunting Leeds down. Burrow.
Ratchford has not gone deep, the full-back. He knows that there could be an opportunity of the likes of Sinfield. Maguire, little chip over the top. That's why he hasn't dropped deep. He's fully aware of it. He's controlling things out there.
Mistake from Burrow, he's stretched for that. Free play is on for Warrington. Russell has chanced his arm, he's being pulled back. Got the penalty. He's got the penalty.
I tell you what, that should be 10 minutes in the sin bin.
And they might go for 2 points here, surely, Warrington, won't they?
Oh, they'll go for the 2, but I tell you what, that's a professional foul if ever I've seen one. And the youngsters should be sent to the sin bin, I'm sorry.
Well, they certainly pulled him back on the way through. There are a couple of Leeds defenders coming back, so was it an actual scoring opportunity? That's what Phil Betham's got to take into account.
Well, he's taken it into account. He's not produced the other card.
We'll never know, because this youngster, fair play to him, he said, well, I'll stop him. At least give away 2 rather than the 6.
I don't think Ratchford has missed yet tonight. 3 from 3. Ash Golding pulling back the man. Matty Russell. No doubts about the validity of the penalty.
But the thing is, Eddie, that there is no full-back in attendance, so therefore it's an open run to the line. I can't believe that he hasn't given a professional foul.
Well, Lee Breers has kicked a few in his time. I bet he has been assisting and advising the kickers. The kicker is Ratchford.
I think I'm not so sure he's advising the kicker, Eddie. I think what he's doing
in the training, not now.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is he's saying, look, if it bounces off the post, make sure that someone is dropping back. And it looks as though it's going to be the big fella Sims.
Well, it'll be interesting if Briscoe picks it up and gets
Tell you
past everybody.
What a bounce a long way to get to Ashton Sims, Steve.
But it could
40 metres off his own try line.
No, I didn't mean that. It could bounce off the sticks and say go to Ryan Hall.
Ashton Sims is going to catch him.
Well,
exactly. They've
dropped them back. In fact, they've dropped the two. They've dropped
Here
the
we
two.
go. Here we go. Stefan Ratchford. He's missed it. He's missed it. The game's still alive. So he's annoyed with himself. The coach said 2 points.
Oh, it was the right option. Just didn't come up with it.
Oh, Ashton Sims, full back in the making.
Well, it amazed me because the two players who went back, just in case it bounced to the likes of Brian Hall or Tom Briscoe, were the two props. Maybe they wanted a rest. Now we'll see whether the Wolves can be professional. Because from this position, they should be able to control again.
Westwood will drive it in further towards those sticks. That's tackle number 4.
Well, I think Lee Beers, if he'd been out there, Eddie would have been looking at a drop goal from this scenario.
I think they might be now. With the 20 metres out, bang in front. O'Brien is there. Ratchford's looked for him. And they're giving it to Bridge instead. And Bridge, I think he's kicked this. No, he hasn't.
It just drifted to the right.
The referee was as confused as I was.
Well, that doesn't take a lot, Eddie.
Well, I don't know, you're insulting there, me or Phil Bentham.
It doesn't matter, both of you. It's not over yet. There's still a few minutes to rattle.
We're going to win it courtesy of a drop goal, 13-12. The penalty. Chris Hill puts his hand up immediately. It was a bit careless around the throat of Stevie Ward.
Last chance, Eddie. Last chance saloon. Win this game or get something out of this game. A draw. We've got to score on this set.
Saints, it's still a later score. They're 30-20 up at Widnes. Could be clear at the top of the table tonight. Or could they? Do we have a little twist in the tail here? Maybe not. Coming up to 5 minutes, 12 points. Can Leeds score 12 points in 5 minutes?
That was good work by Kevin Penny. And this is even better work from this fella. Talk about a Trojan in rugby league. Ben Westwood, outstanding. And this fella's worked hard. Kevin Penny, and also his other winger, Matty Russell.
You'd be pushed tonight, Steve-O, to pick a man of the match, but I think got an inkling as who it might be. But we won't be telling anybody just yet. Trying to read your mind.
That's difficult.
It is. Got to find the mind first.
I have trouble myself.
This is Hill. Mind you, knowing you might change your mind in the next 4 minutes. Clark.
Bit strong. But the lineup, they know that Leeds have the tap on the 20.
This is Briscoe. Cuthbertson. Well, Ben Westwood's got the local sponsors man of the match.
It's been a remarkable effort by Warrington in defence, you know. They've played against 4 teams before tonight. They've all scored points. The best team in the competition, Leeds, so far, they've kept them to just that single try. Their attitude to defend tonight, clearly far better than it was in the first 4 games of Super League. I think it's going to be good enough to give them a pretty important win here in this round 5 clash.
Yeah, the time is the enemy for Leeds. Burrow dabs it through. Ratchford just goes down, picks it up. Peacock. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It was a bit over robust, but there's nothing wrong with it. The crowd didn't seem particularly happy.
Well, you're right, Eddie. This is not Tiddlywinks. This is rugby league. It was good position, though, wasn't it, by Ratchford? He's played his part. He doesn't shirk anything.
Ball against Warrington. Leeds rush to the scrum while we see Curry make the error.
Well,
was there a hand in there? No, there wasn't. There were hands all over him, I suppose, round the shoulders, round the arms, Stuart.
Well, I think they'd all come clear before he actually lost the ball, so I think it's a fair call by the officials on that one.
Saints 100% record maintained. If this scoreline stays as it is, they're 2 points clear at the top. Maguire lays it off to Watkins. Watkins to Cuthbertson. And he tried to get that ball away, and Penny has swooped. Cuthbertson trying to make up for the error. Going to be on the losing side in Leeds colours for the first time, Adam Cuthbertson tonight. Don't think there's any doubt now. Warrington have closed the gap on them. St Helens, though, open up a 2-point gap at the top.
And I think you'd have to say that it's well-deserved, this Warrington outfit, we keep saying, and admiring their defensive qualities, but also their kicking game, and generally they've just proved a little bit too smart for Leeds, who have been forced into a lot of errors.
Well, they have finished off Leeds' 100% record. The question that we will all ponder for the next 6 or 7 days is, can they end St Helens' 100% record when the two sides meet at Langtree Park next Thursday night? Because that's the next assignment for this Warrington Wolves team. A trip to Saints. Leeds will entertain Wigan.
Oh, two mouth-watering numbers, aren't they?
Yeah, we shouldn't wish our lives away, Steve, but I can't wait for those two.
No, you're right. Briscoe on the run. Double knock on. It should be Warrington head and feet, I believe. Just getting a little bit scrappy. Oh no, but I thought that Barrow had actually knocked off, and I think they'll find it's Leeds head and no, he's giving it to Warrington.
Well, he said there was a knock on each way, didn't he, Stu?
That's right, he said a double knock on. There's a bit of an incident going on in the back play as well there, with about 4 or 5 players having a conversation. I think that sort of distracted the officials a little bit, but I think they got that one.
Yes, a heated conversation was going on, but in the last minute Warrington have won. A very good performance.
Yeah, I've got to praise both sides, Eddie, because there's been some tough defence out there. It was not a place for the faint-hearted, that is for sure, but the skill factor and the kicking game perhaps just shaded Leeds, who really they didn't get going, especially in the first 60 minutes.
Well, just a reminder for you, you've enjoyed this, and if you stay with us after the break, we will have Barry and Terry and all the tries and all the points from the other 2 matches that have been played tonight. Wigan against Hull and Widnes against Saints. So still plenty more to come on this Super League Friday. As Darrell Clark says, you know, I think that will do. We'll take the 2 points. We'll close the gap. Significant win for Warrington. Very significant win for Warrington. They've ended the unbeaten run of the Leeds Rhinos, who have not won the first 5 since 2009. The last year they finished top of the table, winning the League Leaders' Shield. They've not won 5 in a row here tonight either. They've been beaten in round 5 by a very good Warrington team. Young Ashton Golding. He lost against London last year. He's lost tonight against the Warrington Wolves, but he wasn't to blame for the defeat. In fact, no one's to blame. It was just purely and simply an excellent Warrington performance. I'm sure that's something the boys will agree with.
Yes, absolutely, Eddie. Thanks very much. 12-0 at half-time to the home side. Not the Leeds Rhinos needed to show something in the second half. We caught a glimpse of it, but it was too late. The game already done and dusted, really, at this stage. But we need to have a look at this try. It shows us what Leeds could have done, what they missed out, really.
Yeah, just a quick point. We're going to do this chronologically out of order.
Reverse chronological.
Yeah, so, but because it is worth showing, because it was the try of the game, no doubt about that. The player that I wanted to focus on was Ryan Hall. I thought he was superb in what he did. Soon as the ball leaves his hands, keep your eye on Ryan Hall here. Don't take your eyes off Ryan Hall. Doesn't switch off. doesn't let the pressure that had been applied by Warrington get the better of them. A great offload to Callum Watkins. You said the right thing. The pace that he had, that extra half he had of pace, kept that play going, and great support on the other wing from Briscoe. So that was what they're capable of. Warrington, in my view, it was Warrington who didn't let them do that often enough.
12-0, they went 3 tries in front with the Ryan Atkins try. It came from a Kevin Sinfield error, but this try, I guess, is indicative of the game as a whole. Leeds Rhinos and Kevin Sinfield, some of the more experienced players, rushing the passes, and the Warrington Wolves composed and able to swoop and take advantage.
You can trace this all back as well, for me, to Matty Russell. Matty Russell's effort around the ruck. He got himself out and around into that dead area again with a really quick play the ball, which meant all these Leeds players here were defending on the back foot. Ratchford able to get a really measured ball and put Golding under some real pressure in his own in goal. So that's it. Great quick play the ball. Ratchford out of dummy half. That's a perfectly weighted kick. I thought Golding did really well here. Nice little stutter step to get himself out of the in-goal area. But for me, this was a Warrington side that were hustling, that were harrying, that were applying pressure. That's Ryan Hall. That's
a 6'4" winger, so they do a job on him. And then this is one of their inspirational front rowers, Jamie Peacock. They do a number on him, John.
Yeah, and you could see they were cranking up the pressure the entire time, and that forces a change in attitude from Leeds. You could see Kevin Sinfield right of your screen, chatting away, forces the pass, and it forces mistakes like that. That's not opportunist play from O'Brien and Ratkins. That's hard work by a pack, by a set of players that are all buying into the same mantra there. And you can trace that all back to those smallest of contributions, and Matty Russell's it was on that occasion, getting in behind and just kick-starting everything that happened there for them. They were good value for that win.
And you referenced the hard-working pack. Was there a harder-working member of that pack than Ben Westwood? He's with Bill now.
Still a chance, yeah, for us, and it's been a bit
100% record, and that is an achievement in itself.
Yeah, it's a great win. You know, Leeds have been pretty good at the start of the year, and you know, I think we could have been better, but you know, we've got away with some wins, and tonight was a great performance by ourselves, and one that we're very proud of, and we keep us home record like we want to do, and yeah, look forward to next week now.
Defence as well was top-notch tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, the last couple of weeks we've been leaking a few tries, and you know, we talked about at the beginning of the year we want to pick up our defence, especially after back last year, and you know, I think tonight we got back to it. We dug in for each other, we were covering for each other, and you know, that wins your games.
It's all very well, you know, the big guns, the side that's top of the table, bringing the best out in you. I suppose the consistency is the key, isn't it? Doing it against the other sides.
Yeah, well, we've got St Helens next week at their place, so it's going to have to be consistency. But you know, we'll look forward to next week. It's been, you know, I've enjoyed today. The boys will enjoy today, and you know, like I say, it's a great win for us.
Well done, man of the match, Ben.
Thank you very much.
Callum Watkins from the Leeds Rhinos joins us. Callum, thanks for talking to us, because you've lost your unbeaten record, but gave it your best shot in the second half.
Yeah, we're unlucky in the second half, but first half, give credit to Warrington, who they were outstanding tonight. And
the story of your season, though, isn't it? You're giving yourselves some work to do.
Yeah, I think pretty much every game we've been behind, so you know, we're making it tough for ourselves, but you know, we're still doing the good stuff, you know, with the ball, but not enough tonight in the second half. We weren't good enough with the ball.
Did you think, though, once you got that try and then the momentum seemed to be with you, there was still a chance?
Yeah, there was still a chance, yeah for us, and I think we were a bit too eager in both halves, you know, certainly with the ball, and you know, we let ourselves down in terms of that, but you know, we've got Wigan next week, which is a big game for us, so you know, certainly looking forward to that.
Well then, thanks a lot.
Cheers, mate.
Just one away win from this round so far, 3 games, and we will have all the tries and all the points from the other matches that have taken place tonight. You'll see how Saints claim their away win when we come back, and we'll have more reaction from here. Warrington triumphant. A great match for Super League Friday saw Warrington win it by 18 points to 6. Penny, Ratchford, Atkins the tries, Ratchford 3 goals, Briscoe and Sinfield with the conversion. 13-6 over 10,000 here. Elsewhere, and this is the way it's looked since last night, Huddersfield beating Castleford 22-0. Widnes and Saints ending up with Saints winning 30 points to 20, and Wigan scraping home, or did they, against Hull FC. Let's go down to Barry and Terry, because they've got the story of those last 2 matches. Fellas, it's all yours.
Well, Eddie, Widnes and Saints, it started really well for Widnes, and both sides went into the game missing some of the star players. And after 5 minutes, Eamon O'Carroll gets Widnes off to a very good start. It was a physical, it was a brutal encounter from all players. Joe Mellor stood up for Widnes without Kevin Brown there. Travis Burns came back into side, no James Roby, and that man Lance Ahaya stepped up and played hooker. He was absolutely exceptional in this game, along with Alex Walmsley and Luke Thompson. But Widnes play expansive rugby, and that man Patrick Arvan scores a try. But in the game, as it was going on and unfolding, it seemed to be all about Saints in the second half. Their scores 2 minutes into the second half, and Widnes were on the back foot. They were giving penalties, they were making mistakes. Big Luke Thompson, I'm a big admirer of this man. He gets himself over the line, he carries a couple of defenders over the line with him, and they scored 3 tries in a 7-minute period, and Widnes really had no answer from this point on. Jordan Turner going in at that point to make it 24 points to 12. Lance Ahaya with his second tries, 30 points to 14, and it was all going against Widnes. But Widnes, with the courage that they showed, they never gave up. The man who passed the ball and started it all going from the ruck, Aaron Heremiah, well, he backs up to bring the scoreline back to 20 points to 30 in favour of the Saints. But a 7-minute period, Eddie, it cost them 3 tries.
Well, the word of the night, if you're a Wigan fan, is few. Very close, very tight contest. And Wigan, with a fair bit of apprehension, started very well, and after 9 minutes, a wonderful pass from Matty Smith releases Joel Tompkins, who goes in to make it 6-0. And after another goal and an 8-0 try, an 8-0 goal, an 8-0 scoreline, should I say, just before half-time, as the clock's ticking, Dan Sargentson goes in. Half-time, 12-0. Wigan feeling pretty good about themselves, but Hull came out of the changing rooms. A high kick from Mark Sneed, 2 players going for the same ball, probably a lack of communication, and Talanoa goes in for Hull FC. And that remained the scoreline, 12-6, until 65 minutes. Matty Smith dropped a goal, 13 points to 6, and my word, how crucial that 1 point was when it got to the last throws of the game. We talked about Callum Lancaster scoring plenty of tries in the academy. He got that late try, and this is the last play of the game. Liam Watts finds himself with a pass and the decision to make. Now watch the reaction of Matty Smith and the rest of his Wigan teammates. Some relief in the Wigan camp, and Hull FC were good on the night. They were far better than they were last week, but my word, there's some relief in that Wigan camp, and Sean Wayne will just be pleased to get the 2 points.
And what's the word of the night, Barry, again for Wigan? Few, okay.
I forgot.
Okay, let's take a look at the way all that affects the league table. The Saints then march on at the top. They are now the only team with a 100% record in the First Utility Super League. Leeds are now second. Warrington have joined them. They haven't moved up the table, but they have closed in dramatically. Catalan and the ones other than those who have played tonight have still got to play this weekend. I bet Tony Smith, 6 years in charge at Warrington's delighted. He's with Bill.
Tony, you've been scratchy at times this season. There was nothing scratchy about that performance.
Second half was a bit scratchy, some of the kicking game, but what wasn't so scratchy was our defence. Our defence was probably back to how we started the season, and we had a little bit of that. We got some of our defensive efforts and desire back there, and probably some defensive energy, I think. Sometimes you can lose your energy after some big matches, and we had a big match, a couple of weeks ago.
When you think who was sitting in the stand, though, your captain, Joel Monaghan, Richie Myler, Ben Harrison as well, take that into account. That's not a bad performance. Yeah,
there's a few more names there too, Bill, but we're getting through it all right. We've got some good players on the park, and they're doing a great job. Some of those young blokes were terrific there tonight, but Super Benny Westwood was back to some of his best, but Matty Russell on the wing I thought was outstanding, and our forwards did a big stint in the middle there. But I'm going to say to you, some of it's, you've got to defend well like that, otherwise you get beaten by lots, by Leeds. They're dangerous, and we saw them last week, what they can do in 40 minutes. So sometimes your defence reacts on a bit of fear of what could happen unless you turn up for one another, and we turned up for each other tonight.
Just got to do it against Saints next week, that's all.
Yeah, well, and a similar sort of stuff. They've got some terrific players, and they're a dangerous team and can score points off the blink of a hat. So we need to turn up with a similar sort of attitude. Sometimes that can be hard. I think Leeds suffered a little bit tonight from the big efforts that they put in last week. So, you know, but that's a challenge for all of us teams when we play those big games that we've got to come up week to week.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Should be delighted. Tony Smith, his team have taken one 100% record away. Next week they go to try and take the other. The only one that is now still standing at the Saints. But let's go back to this one tonight, Phil. I mean, Warrington, they were brilliant.
I think the score the score at the end of the game accurately reflected the difference between the two sides. 6-6 second half was again because Leeds up the ante and they just about matched it. There was a tackle for me early in the first half when Ben Westwood almost has made a mark, cut Stephen Ward in two. It was such a good tackle, hit him underneath the ball came free. And whenever you've got a team that can defend like that, well, they'll be very difficult to beat. I thought for me tonight, Warrington's defence was far better than their attack. If they can polish up some of their attacking times and chances, then they'll be the team to beat. But they didn't quite get their attack as good as the defence tonight. If they do work on that on this week, and I think the weather starts to get warmer, that will suit the Wolves as well. Then next week, if we're into a little bit of spring and the ground's a bit firmer, we are due, I think, the game of the season. We've built this one up to be special. Next week against St Helens could be the best so far.
Well, it could be, absolutely it could be. I mean, to date, this was the best game we've had.
It was, yes. I mean, Leeds, I think what's very difficult, isn't it, is to be at your very best, to run a personal best week in, week out. And Leeds weren't quite as sharp as they were last week. But, you know, last week they were passing the ball and offloading it. That won't always come off. I know some of the Hull supporters were absolutely despondent when they left the ground. They just hit Leeds on the wrong 40 minutes.
Can we just have one very brief comment? Disruption off the field tonight to the Leeds side. You saw Brian before the match talking to them quite sternly, quite quietly, quite calmly. Does what happens off the field sometime affect what happens on it?
Potentially, yes. But I think there's a lot of things happen off the field that we never get to hear about. Internal things which may not be that serious, but, you know, still relatively serious to the club themselves. So I think clubs that are professional are used to deal with ups and downs week in, week out. And that's just all part of the challenge of being a coach in the Super League.
And you can't say that Ash Golding, who stood in for Zach Hardacre, he didn't let anybody down.
I think he could be a great player for the next 10 years. I'm looking forward to seeing him get a little bit more game time. When the pitches are firmer, I've watched him play in the academy level on a hard pitch. His stepping and speed work is absolutely brilliant.
OK, thanks, Phil. And that's the end of the story from here then. Now then, coming up next here on Sky Sports 1, Fantasy Football Club. And right now on Sky Sports 3, that tennis from the ATP Masters in Indian Wells. OK, that's us done and dusted for the weekend. But hey, if you have any plans next Thursday and Friday, can them. And come with us on Sky Sports 3 at 7:30 both nights. St Helens, 100% against Warrington, who've just beaten Leeds. Leeds try to bounce back against Wigan. 7:30 next Thursday, Friday, both of them on Sky Sports 3. From Phil, me and all the rest of us, we will see you, I hope, next week for those two. Don't miss them. Bye-bye.